Bostonian and the Beast podcast. You're gonna wonder why Tommy is in a mouth gag, because Tommy does not know how to shut up. He got his Adderall prescription today, so we just thought we'd play it safe. How you doing, Tommy? Okay, yeah. You gotta tighten that up. Yeah, we need to tighten that up, without a doubt. Who's our guest host today? Who?
It's your boy, KARIZMATIK.
KARIZMATIK is our guest host today.
The favorite son of Boston.
So, Tommy, I got a couple questions for you while you're wearing the mouth gag, because that's the best time to actually talk to you. When was the last time you filed a tax return? Never filed a tax return. KARIZMATIK, is there anything you would like to ask Tommy?
Tommy, when's the last time you had some good anal sex? Yeah, I like to talk about butt stuff. So. 5 years ago? 5 years? 5 years. Wow.
5 years ago. 5 years ago. So I like the fact that you have a mouth gag, because I fucked a retarded guy one time.
Oh!
Why let the retarded guy fuck me? I mean, his dick wasn't retarded; it was just his brain.
There you go.
And you put a mouth gag on him; they all sound just like anybody else.
I broke out. There's another comic who did the same thing. Should I say his name?
Fucked a.
Yeah, he did the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
now were you?
It's only the brain that's retarded.
Was
the
this
body
when
wasn't.
Before or after you blossomed into Mitzi?
Oh, it was after.
Ah,
No, I wasn't letting people fuck me before. Yeah.
Okay.
I was fucking.
You were the fucker. You were
Now,
the
Mitzi,
I used to be a fucker.
you like women too?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
I'm
cool.
bisexual. If it sniffs right, I like it.
Yep.
There you go. There you go. Whatever blows your skirt up.
The field's green, play ball.
Oh, the wind blows
Yeah.
mine up.
So I was thinking this today, Mitzi. Your breasts are young, right?
Yeah.
Although you're a little long in the tooth, right?
I'm long. My teeth are
So
long.
there's parts of your body that are
Really?
illegal. You basically have like the breasts of a. I don't know how long ago did you get the breasts?
Well, I've had them for a little while.
Define little while.
So I started hormones like 10 years ago. Started sprouting in probably about 9 years ago.
So you could end up in
And then-
court because those are prepubescent.
No, I got them. I
breasts.
got them enhanced a year ago because they were pretty big. But
Just stay close to. I don't want to lose you.
well, he's in a rocking chair. He's like getting really comfortable. He's
I
like, yeah,
mean,
just rocking
Comfy's
away.
how I do, man.
I'm always like anti-cans with headphones because if you have an engineer like her,
Anti-cans?
but then again, it does lock you into it more because you're hearing everyone else in your head. And if
Yeah.
you're off mic and you're too far away, you'll be able to monitor.
So maybe you
yourself.
should put on the headphones and you could hear when you're just talking.
What I usually do is I'll put one ear on, one
Yeah,
ear
yeah,
off,
yeah.
so that you can monitor the room a little bit better.
Yeah. If I didn't have an engineer running the boards, I would totally wear them all the time.
See, I don't need them because I don't give a fuck what I say.
There
Right,
you go.
right.
Or when I say
You
it.
just dropped the word
Yeah, I did.
retard earlier.
Yeah, I did. Well, I'm from
You said, I fucked
Massachusetts.
everything. You said,
Well,
no,
I didn't use the R.
You got,
so.
you did. You said that.
It was a
Yeah.
hard R.
Yeah,
a hard R?
It was a
Well,
hard R.
I didn't know we did
It
that.
sounds worse if you say retarded, but
Retarded.
retard. It sounds like clinical when you say.
I used to work when I worked in the kitchen. I used to always say, people come up and there was a mistake, and I'm like, I'm sorry.
I'm
I-
so
I
sorry.
didn't mean to do it.
Yeah.
And the hostess comes in. She goes, I find that really offensive. I have a retarded son. I'm not retarded. I'm fucking mental needs.
Right,
Get it right.
I used to hang out with
So,
a kid, and he would
I had to
play
see
the act
HR
on the
the next
train.
day.
He'd go like 10 stops on the orange line. Like, yeah. And I'm like, relax, Billy. We're going home. You want to play street hockey? I'm like, we're gonna play street hockey, Jesus. And I'd garner sympathy from him. It's so sweet. You take care of him. I'm like, yeah, he's retarded. He's a good kid though. I actually did something in your room last night. I
Talked about your son.
made a funny about
You
my
did.
autistic
Yeah.
son who's in literally 3 of these away from a hockey helmet. And I could say that because I have autistic.
So,
license.
what is it, like father, like son, right?
Yes. He gets it
Because
from him.
Tommy's like 3 away from me.
So last night I ended the set by saying, if he did have a hockey helmet, I just get him a hockey stick. Good night. But I think I'm gonna add to it and be like, I would just play a lot of street hockey. But you know, there'd always be that asshole neighbor be like, oh, you kid, oh yeah, he likes hockey, huh? I'm like, yeah, that's why he's wearing the helmet. He's like, where's he going? I'm like, he's chasing the puck. He's like, what puck? You know what I mean? Like, we let him think there's
He
a puck.
sees it. There's a puck.
There's a puck.
There's a fucking puck.
Yeah, that would be a lot of effort to hide the fact that because he doesn't look, you know what I mean? And honestly,
I mean, what does that look like?
he looks normal.
Well, they have.
If you saw a
they have
picture
that,
of him,
that face of love.
yeah. He's happy all the time.
I like that face of love.
But I always
It
said,
is. I have a niece. She's she's.
I would have.
I love
If
her
I had a
to
choice
death, yeah.
between his condition and Down syndrome,
Yeah.
I'd go Down syndrome.
Well, that's what my niece is. She has Down syndrome.
You can have a relationship.
Yeah.
with
She's
them.
16 years
I mean,
old. She's
yeah.
a sweetheart. She
Yeah,
still uses
yeah.
the hand.
Yeah, but there's
Oh.
a loving
Yeah.
reciprocal with my son. And I was 19 when he was born, so it was a fucking nightmare. You know, he got diagnosed at 3, and I was like, "Ooh, heroin!" You know, like I don't blame.
Yeah.
But it definitely came in handy. You know what I mean? It was fucking heartbreaking, horrible. You know, he doesn't talk. You know,
But you make up for it.
very uplifting. I haven't seen him in a minute. It's
Like I said, you make up for his not.
well, I have a 3. Yeah, I know. I'm talking for 2 of us. You know, it was either hockey helmet or the Santa hat. It's Christmas time,
Should have gone with the hockey helmet.
and this is why my daughter's so special to me. She
So
got robbed
I want you to
Christmas
put the mouth gag back because
Oh, question me about my offensive joke.
offensive joke. Which one was that? I mean, most
Black
of them were
fruit.
offensive. Oh, about the 2 Chinese ladies.
Mm.
Yeah. You were saying something about Chinese women want sex more than anybody.
I was telling a story, not to be repetitive, but I must clarify
there we
because I
go.
literally couldn't sleep that night. I'm laying in bed. I'm like, is she really mad at me over that? You know, or was it Amanda C? You know, like, oh, I'm not down with that. And we were talking about like getting taken home from a bar.
No, it's the
Taken
way
home
you
from a
said it.
bowling alley.
You know, the way you said it was like nobody wants sex more than 2 Asian women.
Yeah, it's like, who wants to fuck more than an old Asian lady?
I
2 old Asian ladies.
I used to know a lot of girls that like to fuck and they
That's
weren't
fair.
Asian.
That's fair.
Do they go for black guys, or do they? Are they forward thinking and know they'll get?
It's so
Shit,
so.
bro.
Not really. Not really. Not really. I haven't had any
Really?
luck with Asians.
Oh, see,
I had a Korean
I've seen
girl
a lot
live
of
under
Asian
my
black
bed
couples.
for like a whole year. I'd sneak her in, get under the bed, And my mother would go to sleep. I'd go out. I'd be like, "Come on, you can come out now." Swear to God, one night I go, "Hey, my mother's gone. You can come out." She's like, "No, I'm just gonna nap for a while." So,
I mean, if she was comfortable, why?
some
why
baller shit, you know.
Why change
So
it? if
I-
you're already
I
comfortable?
got these 2 drinks and they say Stolen X.
What is it? Is
It's
it liquor?
it's a bourbon. It's
Bourbon.
bourbon with some orange, but I can't get it open because it's a pull tab.
You got these pretty girl
I got
nails.
these pretty nails.
Yeah, for the viewers, just know
Yeah.
Mitzi runs on diesel fuel. You know?
Diesel or
There you go.
always
Episode
have,
1. We
always
polished
have
the
an
fifth.
alibi. That's my theory.
There
That's
you
why I
go,
got
there
this.
you go.
Always have an alibi.
This is why I teamed up with her out of everybody. It's like nobody's on my level
yum.
of degeneracy,
Want to try it, Herb?
Sure.
except for the crew that I just parted ways with.
Mm.
But 2020 is going to be a good year. Next episode going to be a
Tasty?
live podcast. You want to
Ah,
come
you-
as part of the
You
silliness?
made a face. You made a face.
Yeah.
You look like you're struggling with that over there.
Mitzi, what's
Not
the
a
date
fan.
of the show?
Tastes a little
that,
orange
uh,
in there.
you're
So
doing?
January 10th.
Oh, I thought it was
Friday.
8th. Okay.
I did too.
Friday.
I don't know how I fucked that up, but today somebody sent me a thing going, "Our show's on Wednesday."
Right,
No,
right,
it's on
right.
Friday.
'Cause you said the 8th, and I was like, that's
Yeah.
Elvis's birthday. So I was going to write
Okay,
an
no,
Elvis
so
taking a
we
shit
didn't want
story.
to take the shine
So
off
it's
of
the 10th.
Elvis's birthday, so we did it on Friday.
Well, maybe
yeah.
Townie Elvis will
Yeah.
show up. I'll see if I can pull some
Yeah.
strings.
There you go.
Yeah.
That'd
yeah.
be a good introduction.
County Elvis would be
Yeah.
perfect for
Yeah,
the
yeah.
first show, without a doubt.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
what's dope about like Jacques up and downstairs, it's the difference between performing and doing comedy, the difference between feeling like show business and no business. When you're next to the pool table and someone's playing darts and
Well,
you're standing on the
And then
floor.
there's also
people
people,
are
in the
watching
bar.
True,
Yeah.
true.
Like
Yeah,
Jacques is
yeah.
set up. That's like entertainment, Upstairs they got the fucking cat with the walkway, But comics always make the mistake of strutting out into it, like I'm gonna be cool.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
you're in the dock, dum dum.
Yeah, I know. And I'm trying to take pictures of them so I can
That's
create
something I
pictures
want
of
to
the
talk
shadow.
about you too. I won't get into it now, but there is a spotlight there because
Yeah.
I've seen Penny God rest her soul. She's dead, right? No, anyhow.
No, she's not. She's in New Jersey.
She's gone. She's gone.
She's in
Same
Jersey.
thing,
Kind of
same
the
thing.
same thing, but yeah.
Yeah, big up Penny.
Yeah.
You know that ain't even her real name.
What's her real name?
Of course. She's Jewish. Do you think her parents would name her Penny? No, it'd be like 50
They
cents.
keep that shit.
It'd be
right?
like Silver Dollar or something
Right.
like that.
They
yeah.
named her Penny so they
Yeah.
wouldn't lose her.
Or
Where's
no,
the
no, she
Penny?
named herself Penny so she could be.
We've said retarded and shit on
Huh.
Jewish people.
Yeah.
Or this, what's
I
that?
would
Wow,
never shit
right
on
out the
Jewish
front.
people. I grew up in a Jewish town.
You are Jewish, right?
Yeah, my
Oy
grandfather. Yeah. Oh,
You just look like straight Ginzo.
Oy.
You
Well,
sound
that's-
like it.
I got my dad.
Yeah.
That's my dad.
Your
my Ginzo.
accent is comparable. I'd say stronger than mine. Your Boston accent.
Depends. Depends on my drinking level.
Right.
Yeah, you guys are pretty fucking Bostonian.
Yeah. We call it native. We're a dying breed.
We're
you know?
I'm Boston born
How
and
about-
raised.
where
But I
you
don't
from?
sound anything like y'all.
We're like,
Dorchester originally, and then Randolph afterward.
okay.
I,
This is what I
I
think
lived
is
in
cool.
Randolph for a year.
When you meet
Yeah,
somebody,
my house
right?
burned down.
When
We're
a white,
eating
Tell
hot
them
dog-
why. Tell them why.
We're eating hot dogs and beans.
Ugh.
The boiler blew up.
See, I told you white people
would you
can't
cook
cook.
them in the tub?
I told you white people
No.
can't cook.
No,
Yeah,
no,
we
wait.
can't.
So,
Boil
so
shit.
we're eating hot dogs and beans. All of a sudden, you poof, boom. And like my stepdad ran down the stairs and there was a cloud of smoke. And he comes running up the stairs with a bigger cloud of smoke. He goes, "Everybody out of the house!"
Mm.
And then we stood outside and
And it burnt
literally
down.
saw the fucking house burn down.
Holy
Nothing.
shit.
Yeah.
It burnt. You lost all your
Oh
shit.
yeah, clothes,
Wow.
toys, yeah, everything. We had a German Shepherd and the Shepherd. So my parents had gone and they looked at a new house in Brookline, or the apartment that we ended up moving into, and but when the fire happened, the dog disappeared. He was out in the yard with us. Next thing, he decided to take his own walk. So they kept going back like a couple days later, and they couldn't find him. And then about 2-3 weeks later, the dog showed up at our house in Brooklyn.
Wow.
Bloody paws and everything, and was scratching at the
They're
door.
like a homing pigeon.
They really
They
are.
just know how to. It's
He
great.
knew. He found his way home.
Wow.
Yeah.
I have a cat. I have two cats, Tux. And I didn't.
Did
name
you
her.
want to try some
Very
Stonix?
unoriginal? You want some
I
fireball?
don't know. After his face, I don't know.
You're-
I'm kind of.
you're very
I'll
hesitant.
fireball. I'll fireball.
How
Like,
about some weed? You want some Adderall? Huh?
no, I don't know. I'm a weed type of guy. I mean, I see juice boxes. Who
You're a
juice
comic
boxes
though.
are those,
Comedy and
man?
Adderall.
I want a juice. I love juice boxes.
We will
man.
drink
Like,
anything down here.
like,
Sterling Smith, when she'd come on my old podcast at WEMF.
She'll
yeah,
be on
she
January
would
10th
bring-
show.
she
She'll be on my
brought-
show the
she'd bring
10th.
snacks, and juice boxes.
I
you
love
know.
juice boxes. Like,
She
I
had
really
water and sugary drinks. So I always think of her as
Well,
like
she
the
was my
den
co-host
mother.
for a year, and then I don't remember bringing any treats.
I mean, women are great, but you put two of them together, some sparks are gonna fly.
Yeah, I mean, what is you guys' relationship? You and Sterling?
What do you mean relationship?
Y'all are some confusing fuckers.
How are we confusing?
I don't know, like.
She's white.
Well, they
I'm
were perceived
black.
as like a team for a minute.
Yeah,
Because
that's
they were
like
doing
S&M. Everybody thought it was like about
sadomasochism.
That's what I thought it was,
bondage
yeah.
and stuff. Well,
Your new show, Fuck
So,
Stand Up,
yeah.
fabulous underground comedy kid.
comedy kid. I had to
Brilliant.
change my poster because people were offended that it had
Where?
fuck
Who?
in the
What,
beginning.
at Jocks? At Jocks?
yeah.
Yeah.
Of all places.
I have all places. Yes, I couldn't have.
Listen,
fuck.
if you wanted to piss on a pound of bacon anywhere in Boston on stage, Jocks is the only place you can get away with. And I'm just throwing that extreme. You know what I mean? Like,
I've
can
I've
get away
never
with a
seen
lot
anybody
there.
pull it. If you pulled your penis out, you're gonna.
do you remember the night I was at Jocks and my zipper was down? And for the viewers, I go Vegas year round, ball just hanging brain. And
Really?
my zipper was
That's
down.
not uncomfortable?
Now, sometimes my zipper will catch my mushroom tip.
Oh,
So anyway,
that's the
I'm on
worst.
stage, right?
have you ever zipped it in?
I'm
like skin,
very
like-
yes, I have, but I've become
What was that
very
movie
proficient.
where they said everybody like, I caught the chicken in the zipper or whatever?
No.
Wait,
Have you ever like? I mean, the worst is.
do I taste Mary Jane?
I get edibles. Oh, so let me finish the story. So I'm on stage at Jocks.
Edibles?
I'm at Jocks Cabaret, right? I think it was a show too. I think it was one of your shows, one of the S&M shows on a Friday. And all of a sudden, this girl in the front row is laughing, and then she just goes, and you just see her eyes bug out of her head, and I'm like, oh. She
I feel a
knows
breeze
how
down
small
here.
my dick is. And I looked down, I was like, whoops. And the whole room laughed, and like, how do you come back from that? You know what I mean?
Actually, how you
You-
not? It's
Yeah,
easy. You
like-
gotta laugh.
Yeah,
Like,
they laughed for
you
the
know,
wrong reason.
yeah.
Like, it was like a button in a fur coat.
so I'm half Italian,
It
but
ain't
not the
going
half you were
when it's
looking at.
soft. When it's soft, it's a pecker. When it's hard, It's a
Nah,
dick.
yo, then you hit him with the I'm growing out of shoulder.
You know what
I
it
mean?
takes?
Yeah,
All of like
yeah.
2 minutes 30 seconds for you to start talking about your dick.
Yeah.
Every single time.
Tommy
It's
O
all
dick.
about Tommy's dick.
You know,
Even
listen.
if it's little, he talks about it.
Modern
Play to
medicine
what you
is
know.
amazing.
Play what you know.
You know, Mitzi wasn't born with breasts. So can I get a dick
Are you
transplant?
sure?
No, you can't.
No, yes, you can.
What? Right?
You can, but they don't work. I
I
mean,
want to get a big
if
old
they did,
South American knee knocker just
they
with
don't-
a crooked bend.
they haven't. They
with an
haven't
elbow
really.
mid shaft.
Oh, you're right. They can.
Doesn't
Oh
work.
yeah, there's plenty of
It
them,
won't,
but
you won't be able to
they're
get
really
erect
not
again.
that successful, and you
They
need
don't
a
work?
lot of fucking money.
If they did, there'd
So
be a
it's-
lot more
it's-
happy transplants.
It's in the reverse. Actually, they're very happy. They don't need a penis to make them a man. It's like we don't need a vagina to make us a woman.
Right.
You know.
Oh, you said there was something you wanted to celebrate on here, a year, and I didn't catch what it was.
Oh, I have my year at Sunday Fun Day starting next
Year of
month.
Sunday Fun Day. Okay.
I started
okay,
my
cool.
first show the first week of January.
been a year.
So it's been
Have
a
you
year.
considered changing the name to make it your own?
No,
I mean,
I like-
it does ring well.
I like the Sunday
Sunday
Fun
Fun
Day.
Day
It's it works. It's
On
Sunday.
the fly, you
it's
should be
on fun.
Penny is not here. She'd
You
get
know,
up there and lip sync show tunes for like.
I felt bad that a lot of people were knocking her at the end.
I was always supportive.
and
I
people
saw
were
her
saying,
crush once.
"Oh, Mitzi should take the show over.
Oh, yeah.
She's more jocks than she is."
Halfway through your first
didn't
set I ever
matter.
saw, I went up to you and like,
Yeah,
this
I
needs
know.
to be your room. You're on brand. That's stolen valor.
Well,
You
tell him
know?
about the first time you saw me at Jocks, which was my second stand-up.
I thought you were very funny, and I thought what you have is so marketable. I was
He-
like,
he
this
comes up to
Definitely
me.
marketable.
So
Definitely.
so he comes up to me, he goes, "Fuck, you were funny. How long you been doing this?" I said, "This is my second time." I was all excited. He goes, "Fuck you." Went back in the bar.
Oh, you butthurt. You butthurt.
No, I mean,
No, then he came
damn.
back out and he was.
I was like, I see
shouted
you,
me
I
out,
see
yeah.
you. I think what you have is so marketable and cool, and the timing is right. And why I think you deserve
I
it.
think there's a lot
you
of great
deserve
funny
it
trans
is 'cause
comedians out there.
You're the best one in Boston.
No,
you
there's some
carry
really
it
funny
well.
ones.
Because when I see another
Yeah.
one, Mitzi's better than me. You know what I mean?
that's
like,
not fair.
like if you saw another
So-
Scally Cap guy with dentures, you'd be like, he's funnier than Tommy.
I
but
said,
there's
he looks
another
like
one.
Tommy O'Deed.
Right,
I
right,
don't say
right.
he's funny. He looks like Tommy. But come on, you could throw a nickel out in the street and hit a white comic with the scally cap.
I know.
Yeah, that's fair.
I was gonna say this. You said you're from Boston.
Yeah.
When I meet a white kid who's clearly like, corn-fed or whatever, go, where you from? I'm from Boston. No, where you really from? And they're like, oh, actually, I'm from Braintree, or like.
Yep.
But when you meet a black kid, you say, where you from? They say, I'm from Boston. That means Roxbury, Dorchester,
Mattapan.
Stab and Kill. Sorry, Stab and Hill.
Wow. Savin Hill.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
was-
stab and
yeah.
kill.
I drove home from the Midway doing a set last night after Mitzi's room and went right down the same route. Got a ride with Greg DeRue and some girl he was with. And
Must have been
I
yesterday.
had just been telling the story how on the way home from Midway one night, there was a shooting right next to Kenny's car. Like, we come up to the red light like this. There's an SUV. We're right next to it. A dude leans in with like a 40 cal and pumped 8 shots into the. How do I know it was 8? Because I looked it up on the news. He lived. He drove. That neighborhood is so fucked up. They have the gunshot microphones on the poles, so
True.
they know when a gunshot goes off. And listen, the dude, it was like in a movie. He starts running, and we start driving. He's running right next to me. He looks in the window, sticks the gun down his pants, burns himself. Gun
Yeah.
goes flying. Then he grabs it and did that like black gangster dude thing where he ran 1,000,000 miles an hour, real low to the ground with the gun right here. They got away. They were like, if anyone has any information, I
Is
was
it a
like,
black
click
gangster
off.
maneuver, or is that just a dumb gangster maneuver?
It's like run
both.
low, stay low. keep
I
your
don't think
gun
that.
out of
I don't
sight.
think that maneuver has color to it. I
Yeah.
think.
Well, you're military trained.
Well, I know a lot of dumb guineas that do the same fucking maneuvers. So
Right.
you know,
Fair.
I'm
I know a
horrified
lot of
of guns.
Southeast that would do it too.
Like
Although
Like, guns scare me just for the simple fact, like, let's say I'm driving down the street with Herb in an alternate universe, and we get pulled over, and I'm sitting next to him, and he's got a fucking, an unregistered 380. I'm a felon. I could get charged with felon in the known presence of an illegal firearm. 18 months, mandatory.
So
Wow.
Yeah, that's why I don't want nothing to do with guns.
So
I don't want to be near them.
should I tell you that
Unless they're legal.
I have a gun in my purse. So.
You don't. You licensed to carry?
Feel my purse.
Let me see. I'm gonna call you on this one. Oh, Mitzi. And you know what is so gangsta? How long we known each other? A little while now, right?
Yeah.
Going on a couple of years. Had no idea. You could blow my wig off at any point. That's cool. That's good to
fucking
know.
smart.
And I always say, here's the thing about Mitzi. I always say, right?
What I love
all
is
these-
that he believes I have a fucking gun in my purse. Really,
you
would I
don't?
be
Oh,
carrying
you're
a gun in my
military.
purse?
No, I would have believed
That's
you.
it doesn't
It's a
matter.
room. Stop
I
in the room.
actually,
Mitzi's packing.
I was
Talk
an
some shit.
undercover investigator for 2 years. I had to
Really?
carry. Yeah, I had to carry a gun, and I hated
Does
it.
that mean you were a confidential informant? Like a
Yeah, it
CI?
was a fucking paid snitch. That's
Really?
that's the way I
But
looked
you weren't
at
in
it.
the game, so that makes it different. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
you're not a snitch.
You're not in the game. You weren't 6'9" out here. You know what I mean?
Eh.
Yeah, you're right.
What do
No.
you think's gonna happen?
So
with
mine
that
was
kid?
like private stuff.
I think
you know?
people gonna catch him on the street.
Nah, he's got money.
Uh,
not-
So did Nipsey Hussle, but I mean, people catch him on the street.
Who? Who are we talking about?
This you know the
6ix9ine.
rapper 6'9", the kid with the
Oh.
rainbow hair,
Yeah.
big Rico case.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, how I realize how like non-street a lot of the hip hop media is.
Yeah.
They're like, whoa, the judge hit him with 2 years. Like, dude, he had an AR-15. He got fucking, putting hits. Like, he had a Rico case. Rico is supposed to be something like a Mando 15.
Yeah.
He ratted on everybody. And he got 2 years. He'll be out in July. He's
Yep.
been, he'll be, here's the thing. Do you think they'll let him back on the gram? Because Instagram has not been as enjoyable since Tekashi 6ix9ine
I don't think
went
they'll-
away.
I don't think they'll
I
stop
fell
him.
for his whole troll. I'd be like, what are you doing in O Block? Get out of there, 6ix9ine. They're gonna get you. I love watching that. I like his music. I like him. And my friends think I'm out of my mind. But I get why he blew up like he did.
I mean, I definitely get why he blew up.
He's not a mumble
He's-
rapper.
He's not my style, but like
Me
I
neither.
get why he blew up.
I get. You know what I mean? He's like a young, fucking, good-looking Spanish kid, and he's not like mumble rapping, which
I mean, we're completely in the age of the troll. You know what I mean?
absolutely.
So I mean, a troll rapper, perfect. I mean, we have a troll president, troll rapper.
He won't be able to. I don't think they're gonna let him back on social media like he was. And he's got like 5 years of supervision, which means he's pissing in a cup. You know what I mean? He's not drinking. He's not able to do. He could like pop a dirty, go right back in, piss test. Back on the Instagram, talking shit. Oh, you're not supposed to do.
See,
You know what
I
I mean?
think
If
if
he's
he-
not gonna be able to move like he used to.
If he
move,
honestly got off this easy, I think he's gonna.
Oh, he already signed a record deal. He's gonna come out. Kids today do not. Ratting doesn't compute with them.
Should I
the
pour alcohol
way.
on this?
How old are you,
Travis?
Charismatic?
I'm 29.
Okay, so you're almost 30.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
fucking
You're old enough.
baby.
You're old enough
You're
and you're
younger than
black,
my
and you know that
baby.
snitching does not fly. But with these kids, like they don't. Like,
Well-
well, I mean, we're out. The gang was fucking his baby's mama, so tell on him, like, dude,
Can I tell you about the first time I met Charismatic?
yes.
So
I know
I
this is a good story.
you were working at CVS at the time,
Yeah.
right? He was
Where?
working
What
at CVS.
CVS? That's
Yeah,
very
one
important.
over by Jocks actually.
Okay.
The one heading over towards the
Right off a
south
Tremont.
end. Yeah, right off Tremont there. So I went in there and I was actually looking for something, and he could tell I was looking for something. And he came up and
Lube?
goes, "Actually, no, not at the time."
It was. She was
Aisle
close
five.
to the lube aisle, but she wasn't looking
I
for
wasn't. No. If it was, I changed my mind when he walked over.
that.
And he walked over and he
He's
goes,
like, you need to use this
he
one.
goes, "Oh, is there anything I can get you?" And he showed me the aisle and stuff. And I'm like, "Oh, thank you for
KY
your
and
help."
Cocoa.
But then he walked over and he goes, "Can I tell you something? I just want to say one thing to you. I really respect who you are and that you carry yourself."
Right.
And to me, that floored me. No, a lot of people don't say that.
Young black dude.
A lot of
you know what
people
I mean?
get smiles like, "Oh, hey, thumbs up. Hey,
Right,
we're
right.
with you."
But do you like
But
that
he
kind
actually
of
came
attention?
out and said that.
Do you like that? You know what I mean? When you get like the like you do feel
Oh,
like
it's better than the fuck
Yeah,
you,
yeah.
you fucking you.
on
trans."
episode 1, Mitzi told the awesomest story. Like a statey pulled her over when she was beginning to transition.
No,
he
it
just
wasn't
came
a
up to the
sta- yeah.
window. He's like, "Go, just fucking
Oh,
go,
yeah, yeah,
Just
yeah.
fucking go."
Yeah. No, get out of here. Get out.
No,
Don't
yeah,
let my
didn't
know
even
my
wanna
friend
deal
see
with it.
me.
Yeah, he was too,
But then
too
I also
Irish
told you
Catholic to handle
the
it.
premature ejaculator. He was pretty cool.
Yeah. Let's go back to the retarded fellow. How retarded? Like quirky? Like Downy?
I mean,
or
Wait,
yeah.
Herb,
just like,
you wanted to say something about Tekashi.
He had a
didn't you?
10-inch hard cock
damn.
that stayed hard for probably
God
like
giveth,
6,
God
7
taketh
hours.
away. You know what I
You
mean?
know,
Like,
so yeah,
nothing upstairs, the basement.
like I said, a guy with one of these in his mouth,
Right.
sounds the same as a retarded guy. No, it's the same sound.
You can
coming
write
out.
a joke.
Yeah.
Hey, put this gag ball on. You'll all
You
sound like
said
you're
6 or
retarded.
7 hours.
6, 7 hours. So
They got
it was all
retard
night.
strength.
That's crazy.
know
I
what's
mean,
really-
like if you haven't gotten it in all that time, or I mean, was he getting it like on the
Yeah,
regular
I mean,
or
how
some
much
shit?
did he
Like,
get? Was he
Well,
handsome?
I'm pretty fucking hot.
Was
and
he
I
good
keep
looking
it
dude? Was he
hot,
handsome?
and- oh yeah, I wouldn't have let him. You know.
Right.
You know, I
Good.
just
Was he hard to coerce and get along? What did you offer him, like GI Joes or like, snacks or something? You know, what do you like?
Do you really think I
Want
took
big
home
kickball?
a special needs person and screwed them? Really?
No, I mean,
How,
hey,
how
whatever it
desperate
takes.
do you think I am?
Yeah.
I just thought you were a philanthropist.
I mean, I get plenty of people with sound minds that want to sleep with me too.
I realized my moral compass recently, where there was a woman who,
Tom, you have a moral compass?
yeah, started taking
All
note
right.
of me, and she started promising me the world. I know this person. I can do this, and I can do that, and and then it just came down to, but you gotta fuck me. And then she's like, send me a picture of your dick, and I'm like, is this how you get in the Illuminati? I'm all set.
Basically.
Right? And then I Google micro penis, and I just send her a Google image of it fucking, like I've seen Audi belly buttons that were bigger than this.
Well,
thing.
we've already talked. I one time was with somebody and he's like, oh, grab my big ass cock and stroke it. And
All head.
he pulled his pants down, and it was like,
You couldn't even.
I couldn't get my fingers between the base and the head of his penis.
That's what Adderall does to my.
Like,
my
it was
backup.
just like, yes, it was like a little mushroom connected to the rest
And
of
he
them.
said, grab my what?
Big ass cock, and yeah, it's like, I'm sorry, you're a little delusional.
Anyone here ever been with a prostitute?
Who?
A hooker.
I was one
Yeah.
once.
Why not?
I was like 20. I got me and my buddy. We were all drunk and fucking high, and we went to the combat zone to buy drugs, buy crack specifically. We couldn't find any, and in looking for it, this like
You found a hooker
elderly
instead.
black woman comes up in a skirt, like on heels. She's like, "I suck your dick, $20."
Did she pull?
Like, let's go.
Did she pull? She sucked your dick, right?
What?
Did she pull down your pants?
She pulled them down.
No, did she pull her pants down?
No.
So she was a dude.
That was like.
She was a black tranny. That's,
No, but there was
there's
like
plenty of them
she
out
had
there.
a
I'm telling
bum
you.
bump on her lip.
I
and
know
everything.
exactly who you're talking
And here's the thing: we're in an alley on like a weekend night in back when Chinatown was the combat zone,
Yeah,
right?
that's where all the girls work.
And
Yeah.
I'm standing. She pushes me against the wall, hits her knees, pulls my pants down, and she, with a condom in her mouth, she's like, "Oh, it's so big." I'm like, "Lady, don't lie to me. Like, come on."
No, you know.
And then all of a sudden, my left sneaker, like, I just felt it slide real smooth and something. And then the waft of homeless shit wafted up.
Oh.
And I'm like, duh! I just threw the $20 at her head. I was like, I'm good. And she's like, no. I had to pull away.
Yeah, she was trans.
I come running out of the alley, zipping up. My buddy's like, that was horrible. My dick hurts. I'm like, me too. Let's go. That was the only time I've ever paid. And I didn't bust it. I didn't even get a Woody. When she said, it's so big, I was like, stop it. Like, if they think they need to do that. I was in Vegas with my friends when I was touring with my band in '98. And me and that producer, my best friend, my mentor, Matt, he has money. And I kept trying to pair off with him. I'd be like, damn, look at the bitches. And look, Matt, they'll send a limo. And we couldn't shake a couple of the other guys. Because he wasn't going to spring for the whole crew, you know what I mean? But if I got him alone, I'm like, come on, dude.
I slept with the hooker's sister.
That's close enough.
So we were in boot camp, and everybody went
Where'd
to
you do boot camp?
San Diego.
Wow.
I made sure I did San Diego.
Did you ever go to Mission Bay? I was there.
I didn't want to go. Who the
Wait, you
fuck
get to
wants
choose
go
where you do
Mission
boot
Bay?
camp?
No,
No.
you're not supposed to. Normally
choose
at
when you
this
take a
time,
dump in
this
the
place,
military.
here you have, they send you right to Wisconsin or whatever that fucking hole is in the middle of the winter. And I'm like, no, I want to go to San Diego. They're like, oh, no, East Coast guys don't go to San Diego. And I'm like, all right, I'll see you later. And I scored 135 on my ASVAB, so they're like,
What's the cap of that? You know what I mean? Like,
no, that means I could have done
Perfect. Is that,
anything.
like,
I could have,
perfect?
yeah. They wanted me to do nukes.
so it's
when
like
they
an
went in.
aptitude test.
Yeah, it's exactly what
They
it
want to
is.
put you a mile
Oh, wow.
underground with like.
Yeah,
Here's
there's
the
like, go
key.
down. This kid's a little intelligent. We're gonna
Right,
put
right,
them in.
right.
So it didn't. I said I
Was
wanted
there
to go
more
to San
dum
Diego.
dums
It was Great
around
Lakes.
you?
That's where they wanted to go.
Was there more
Yeah.
Oh my
dums
god,
than
there
the
were
Somebody
so many
graduated.
stupid fucking people in the service. And
That's-
that
I
was the
mean-
hardest thing about being in the service. You had officers. You had guys that were 2-3 ranks higher than you. They were complete morons.
Right.
And
Yep.
And you got to take their shit.
Yep.
well, there's
They
a
can get you
reason.
killed. Like,
There's a reason why I got 5 promotions and 4 demotions while I was in there.
Did you ever do any time in what do they call it, the brig?
Yeah, I did bread and water. We
Yeah,
talked
bread and
about this
water,
last
yeah.
week.
Bread
Yeah.
and water. I had a theory, like
wait,
it's
what do you mean
Disobeying
bread
a
and
lawful
water?
order.
just bread.
You
and
only get
water.
fed bread and water.
Yeah, and I had actually had my teeth pulled 3 days before that. I had my wisdom
Oh.
teeth. I had 2 canines.
And I guess they
and
gave
2
you
baby
really
teeth.
nice, like artisan soft French bread, right?
No, it was hard as
Yeah,
shit,
I
and
bet.
so I couldn't eat it, and so they thought I was on like a starvation diet.
Just
And
dip it in the water.
After 2 days, they sent me to medical. This inmate won't eat. I'm like, I can't eat. It's fucking rock. My
Yo,
teeth hurt.
this is the thing that I've been complaining about. Like, and half of these people become fucking police officers.
It's true.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah,
and then
yeah, yeah.
those are the people out in the street shooting everybody. Like,
You're
are you
absolutely
fucking
right.
kidding
Well,
me?
That's what I was gonna
You're
do when I
absolutely
came out
right.
of. That's I got my criminal
Fireman,
justice
cop.
degree while I was in the service. I was gonna be a cop, but
Like-
then when I lost the sight in my left eye, they said you have to work at a desk. So that's why I was a private undercover investigator. I worked
Wow.
for
Oh wow! How long did you do that for?
3.5 years.
Let me find out you're a fucking fed, and I'm gonna catch a fucking
I'm not a
pharmaceutical
fucking
distribution.
fag. Really?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
hope
man.
not.
Please. Look at me.
You'll be right up there with
I have
Donnie
my-
Brasco.
I have my
you know?
pipes in
Right.
front of me.
How do I know that's not iced tea?
And I have an alibi.
Ah, there you go. There you
Right,
go.
that could be iced tea.
Could
That's
be,
awesome. That's awesome.
but there's only one
so
way
how,
to find
how long
out,
were you a
right?
private investigator?
3.5 years.
Wow. I got in trouble young in life, but had I not, like in the midst of being a junkie criminal, like I'd be around cops and see what to do, and I'd always say,
Yeah, that's what
"Damn,
iced tea
would have been
smells
good
like.
at this. I would have been good at
Yeah,
this."
that's the best type of iced tea.
Yeah, this is really good iced tea.
You know, but even being like an undercover detective, that's a form.
I
of
actually I
acting.
filled
It's
up
close to
a
what we're doing.
Jack Daniels bottle once with iced tea. We're having a house party, and my friends go,
Oh,
my
but you
my
can't
buddy.
drink that.
No, he did it. It was like a kind of the Animal House thing. I walked in from work. He goes, "Hey, get your bottle," and he threw it to me, and I took it. I guzzled the whole thing in front of the party.
Hey, you didn't
everyone
throw
went,
up.
No, it was iced
It was
tea.
iced tea.
Oh.
And they thought you were a fucking champ, right?
Everybody thought I was like, oh,
My
fucking
daughter's
pick
mother,
is insane.
I
You would
wanted
have
to
got me with that.
you could be like a pool shock with my daughter's mom. She can drink. She's not a drunk. She's not an alcoholic, but she could whack all of this, half of that, and be like, "I'm going to bed." Wake up, fresh as rain. Like,
Yeah.
if I drank this whole bottle tonight,
I'm
you'd
fucked
see
up.
me in 5 days, and you'd be like, "You better yet?" I'm like, "No, I'm ready to go."
Now, if I drink that, I'd just be fucked up all tomorrow.
That's why I don't drink a ton.
There's too much sugar in
I
that.
can't handle. I
Yeah.
can't handle the hangovers. I just can't handle it. You know.
That's why I don't stop.
Yeah, but you're not an alcoholic.
No,
you
I'm
know.
not. No, but I come
Mitzi,
from
you're up next. Like,
I come
gotta
from a
get your
family of alcoholics, for sure.
Although, charismatic, what is your preferred formula before you go on stage? Do you have like a I can't do it high thing, like smoking?
Oh,
because you stay smoking, right?
yeah, I love to
You
smoke.
just gotta teach yourself to do it.
You
so
smoke
it's
good
about-
shit.
Oh yeah, you
that
got me
much of a
high as
blunt, that
nuts.
much of
Yeah.
a blunt, and then some caffeine because I don't do like
Right.
I
right.
need an upper
You don't
before I
drink?
get on stage. I mean,
That's good if you don't. It's good if you don't. I'm not pushing-
sometimes I will, but like I've learned that like any more than like 2 double shots of like
yes,
something like
yes,
Fireball
yes.
strain.
A shot and a beer, I'm ready to go.
See, like 2
Right.
double
I
shots
wish.
of Fireball is my limit.
You
That's
give
my
me
limit
2
before I
bucks
get
of
on stage.
cocaine, I'll cave the roof.
See, when you go into the service, the Navy especially, they hollow out one of your legs, so you can absorb more alcohol when you come to port.
You can drink though when you're on like.
Oh, when you go into port, you fucking drink
Right,
like,
right.
yeah, that's. Why do you
And I
think we
bet these
got our
guys whose job it
reputation?
is to go out and round up the stragglers, right?
Oh, that yeah, the MPs.
My grandfather, I inherited his name was Leo James Williams. I just thought that was a great name. They write a book on Leo James.
3 fucking names.
So he was in World War II. He was
Three first names.
he was a
Yeah.
gunner in World War II in
Sure.
in like Battle of Midway, and they pulled into port somewhere in one of those and he went on a fucking toot, and he didn't make it back to ship. They shipped out,
Yeah.
got sunk. He was dead. He was legally on paper
He's dead, yeah.
They gave my great grandmother a folded up flag, and she took it. Meanwhile, he's sending her letters from like fucking Egypt.
Well, yeah, you don't know how long those
Morocco.
letters take.
That
Those
shit
letters take
Yeah.
forever.
Crazy.
No, but they
Yeah.
knew. They knew.
Yeah.
He eventually
jumped
got
ship.
back, or just never got back.
They caught him eventually. He got in some trouble through the legal system. My grandfather was ahead of his time. He had bipolar, like you read about. Like he was in McLean's when it was new. You know, like back when my grandmother would tell me horror stories. Now they just give you like medication. Back then they would like take freezing cold water and dip a sheet in it.
Yeah.
And wrap you in the sheet
yeah.
and pull it tight.
Yeah.
Just to be like pulled tight.
To shock you.
Keep
It was
crazy,
no, it was the
you
shock.
know?
It was the shock.
So why don't you just
yeah.
whack them with a fucking street
Yeah.
hockey stick? See if that helps. That didn't work either.
Well, they tried that. That was before the sheet.
So my
And they deemed
grandfather,
that a little too rough because guys were dying.
he passed that evil curse on to my mother and my Uncle Dan. And luckily, I'm nuts, but I'm not that type of nuts. Like
Well-
I've had psychotic episodes, but it was always
Well, like
drug
I had you open up the Christmas card for my mom.
Yeah, I didn't know what we were doing, so I
It didn't matter. I was
kind
afraid
of
to
cracked
open.
a joke. I was like,
Actually,
what I said.
when
It
I
was
got
kinda
the
fucked up.
Christmas card, I called my sister. I texted her. I'm like, Mom sent me a Christmas card. Does she know about anthrax? Because I wasn't
Yeah, when
sure.
I opened it on stage, I was like, I
Shit.
knew it.
I come from a family of really fucking crazy
Yeah,
people.
but what year
and
was your mother born? Ballpark.
36.
All right, you got to accept that she's. But the fact that she'll still send you a Christmas card, it says "I love you."
No, it said love mom.
Love mom.
It's
She's
all it
gonna
says.
love
It's
you.
all she
You
could
just
write on
have
it.
to
It's
accept
all she
that-
will ever write on anything.
Yeah.
Not like
And this
you
is
know,
why
miss
it's
you,
shit like
love
this. Like
Mom.
you came up in a time, you know, like I have a 19-year-old stepson who's transgender. He's got it easy. Like I'm
Yeah.
always telling
Yeah,
her,
Oh,
like
sure.
Ryan,
she tried to
it's
beat it
fucking
out of me.
true.
I mean,
the world isn't
I-
as soft as your little echo chamber where you're from. I'm always telling him, like, it's rough.
so people don't understand why I
That's
make
why those
jokes
people
about
that
my
age
mom.
are always looking for fucking safe spaces. Those don't exist though.
Right.
I'm from the
No,
early
there
90s. Those
there are
don't
safe
exist.
spaces. There are safe.
You know what
especially
safe
now.
spaces were to me?
When
Like,
I was growing up, there were not safe spaces. My
safe
safe
space was like a brawl's gonna break out. I'll go take a piss.
my safe
That's a
space
safe space.
was going up on the floor on the roof because
Right.
I lived in an apartment building. Going up on the roof and contemplating jumping off the roof. That to me was my safe space.
And this is why I think
that's-
what you
No,
have
I've never felt
as
like
a
I've had a
comic
safe place.
Yeah.
is
Well, I
so
didn't.
valuable.
That's what I'm saying. I never had.
Like,
a
this
safe
is your
space.
time.
It was like jump
society's
and die,
willing to
or
listen to you now. Way more than they were, say, 10, 15 years ago, right?
to a
You know when
degree.
you get introduced,
Yeah.
everyone goes, "Oh, this is gonna be good." You know what I mean?
Well, some people.
Some.
There's
Like I always
there's-
say, when
there's
I see a new black
apprehension.
comic go up,
Yeah.
I'm like, this kid's either gonna cave the roof in, or it's not gonna be good because he's new.
Or we're gonna
You
hear
know
the
what I
N
mean?
word.
Like,
on
I think
every other
black
sentence.
people are funny fucking people. You know what I mean?
I
and
think
people like
anybody-
that's
yeah,
racist.
anybody
I'm
can
like,
be
no,
funny.
Any
you're racist. for
actually,
thinking
it's
that.
any person that's been downtrodden.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think is funny.
Chase
I mean,
Abel
we
said-
don't we don't come from easy families. I
Yeah,
mean,
Chase Abel
I was
said,
beat as a child.
I don't know if this was his, but he said it to me a few years ago. No struggle, no funny.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, because I
You
have
could be
plenty of
witty
friends
and
who grew up
clever,
in South
yeah.
Brookline. They grew up.
Remember
nice.
Dom Smith?
They're not that funny.
Remember Dom Smith? The black
yeah,
kid?
yeah.
He just got a great gig, dude. He's doing like journalism shit on YouTube for comedy hype.
He's
Yeah.
he's
Like,
he's
he's doing-
wicked
that's-
intelligent. I mean, come on,
Oh,
he was
yeah.
on Jeopardy. He
He's
won like
funny.
a week in a
No,
row.
he's
Oh
funny.
shit.
He's
Yeah,
funny.
he's a pretty smart guy.
He gets the corny black kid
Yeah.
pass with me.
Don't
Where I'm
get-
like, yo, you're either hood or you're Dom Smith, and that's a rarity. You know what I mean? To
there
be
are
like,
actually a lot of black
black-
Dom Smiths
I
out there.
think I pissed
Like
him
me,
off.
killers.
Like me, I'm a dual engineer.
Yeah, you're
You know
more
what I
you're
mean?
street.
Well,
You got street.
I'm really not that street, but like
Yeah,
I just
but-
know how to hold my own because I was like literally.
That's your energy.
I went to school in Savin Hill, where
Savin
literally
Hill.
all the white kids made fun of me every fucking day of my life.
Right.
If I wasn't
Were
ready
you
to
bigger
fight,
then?
I was still bigger than them. But like my mother had one rule: if they're talking, keep it talk.
Right,
You know what I'm
right,
saying?
right, right.
And I couldn't talk back then, so they literally get down on me. But immediately they touch me, I fucked each one of them
Yeah,
up.
I'm gonna let you
And
up.
that's always the energy I carried because from a young kid, I'm African. My cousins beat me up coming up. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right, right.
So you learn how to fight early on. So I'm just waiting for it.
Right. You're not looking for it, but if it comes,
I'm
your
waiting
way-
for. I'm
That's
not
where
looking
I'm
for it,
at
but I'm
with it.
definitely waiting for it. It's enjoyable once it happens.
Right. It must be nice to be a big dude like I weigh
Honestly,
$174, you know, and
No,
that's
see,
fat.
I was the smallest kid in my neighborhood.
Me
I
too.
was like
High school graduated 130 pounds.
freshman year. I was 5 feet tall, 110 pounds. I mean, I was.
What'd you weigh at
always,
graduation, high school?
I was 6 foot, 185.
That's a good.
Yeah,
and then you went on.
But my
you were a
sophomore,
football player.
so
in
my
Boston.
sophomore year, I was 5'8", 185. So between my freshman year, and my sophomore year, I fucking grew, and I grew hard.
When did your boxing begin?
Well, I started fighting at an early age. I was always
Street fighting, right?
Like he was saying, he grew up in Savin Hill, and he always got teased. I grew up with an Italian name in
But
an
you
Irish
hid who you
neighborhood
were
in
well,
a Jewish
though, right?
town.
I don't imagine that you were effeminate as
I was growing up,
a little bit, yeah.
and like I said, my mom tried to beat it out of me, and when I got caught when
Is
I
that
was.
where she came through with like football and you excelled at those
It wasn't
aggressive male
when I was like
sports?
12. I got caught dressing, and she brought me to the mental health clinic, and she said, "Fix him."
What year was this?
Luckily, they weren't
I'm
very
not
good at
making.
their
I'm just
job.
playing devil's advocate.
I don't.
Like,
It was in the 70s. So, yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, she was afraid. She was a nurse, and all the trans people that she had ever met were,
yeah,
brought into
deviant.
the emergency room
Yeah.
because that's how she saw them. They were beat up. They were junkies, and that's the life she didn't want for her child.
Right.
So she figured she could
I mean,
beat
my
it out
point
of
is,
me.
like, just gotta accept.
But
the
any
limitations.
time, but
Like,
later
my
in
parents
life,
were horribly
later in
racist
life,
people.
she
Big
said
bad,
the whole
big.
time she was carrying
Yeah,
me,
you're
she
right.
thought she was carrying a girl.
Right.
Well,
That's what my
you
daughter's
were,
mom
Mom.
says about my transgender
Or
stepson.
either that, you were thinking you were carrying a girl, and you sent those messages to my head, and you fucked me up.
But you
for
still
life.
have. But now you have an. Oh, you have a civil relationship with your mom.
Yeah, we have like we talk on my birthday and Christmas.
That's right.
You call that civil? I don't. But
Wow.
Listen, if my kid came to me and was like, "Dad, I want to be Cobra Commander for the rest of my life, or GI Joe,
yeah,
or fucking
they're your
whatever,"
child.
Go ahead, just do it.
Yeah.
Just
That's
I
what
read.
my kids always said to me growing up. Like we could have been anything growing up. We could have changed our skin color, anything. And you guys would have accepted. I mean, my ex was the same way as I.
I
mean,
read a quote in a religious book: "Don't hurt anybody who does not want to be hurt." Satanic Bible. Mic drop.
That was my
No,
own
I
thing
mean,
in
You don't wanna
fighting.
hurt, get over there. Get out of the way.
Growing up, I never threw the first punch.
Me
But
neither.
I always had a mouth that I could make somebody throw the first punch.
You were big though, right?
No, I was
No?
small, and what got me was my next door neighbor. So I had all these kids. In my neighborhood, the guys were like 3-4 years older than me, or they were 3-4 years younger than me, and all the kids my age were all girls. Go figure why I turned into one. But one of the kids saw a bunch of the kids grabbing me, and he came up to me and he said, "What you need to do is go up to the biggest of them and hit him right in the mouth."
Yep.
And he goes, "Tommy Langdon has braces." He said, "Jump up and punch him right in the mouth."
Yeah.
And
cost
so
his parents
they
thousands.
grabbed me and they put me up against the fence, and there I saw Tommy with his big shitting grin, the sun sparkling off those braces, and I literally jumped in the air, punched him in the mouth. And as he was sitting there trying to, he leaned over and was trying to pull his lips out of his braces, and I just kept on coming to left and right uppercuts, and I dropped him. From that day on, people like,
I don't care how tough a gang of dudes are. Like
Yeah.
your eyebrows go up.
yeah, they said, "Oh, that kid's fucking
Right.
fucking nuts." And
No, were you rebelling against like what you know what I mean? Like you're
Always.
you're secretly dressing.
The thing that got me, my
you take it
stepdad.
out in the street
So my
hockey, but-
stepdad was a semi-pro football player, and I remember a conversation him and my mom. They were having a fight, and she's like, "Well, why don't you take him out and play ball with
toughen
him?"
them up.
And she's like, he's like, "Oh, he's a sissy. He ain't my boy." So I asked him, I'm like, "Oh, what's the hardest position of football to play?" And I had tried to go for Papuana, but I could never make the weight. The
I
weight
know
was like, he had to be
Papuana.
110 pounds.
What was
to
it?
be on
What was the hardest
Papuana.
one?
He said it was fullback because he was a fullback, and then he pulled back and he goes, "Actually, left tackle is the hardest position. That's what your Uncle Al played." And then he went into description of why
And then
it
you
was
went
the
and
hardest.
did that and excelled.
My
right?
freshman year, that's what I went out for.
Did you get to
left
do like
tackle.
varsity or JV or whatever?
Yeah.
Left tackle, you said was the
Yeah,
hardest.
yeah.
Did he ever think of middle linebacker?
Well, actually, this is back when you played both positions. I was a middle linebacker. I was left tackle, middle
You fast.
linebacker. I played center. I was strong and small that I could get under people and just lift them up. So,
So you
offensively,
didn't have
nobody
that
can get by
inherent
me.
fear that some people have, like, I don't want to get punched. I don't want to throw my head. You know what I mean? Like you were
Well,
just
no,
act
because
like
I
aggressive
was
sports.
abused as a child. So when a stranger hit me, I could hit them back.
Right.
I couldn't hit my
right.
parents.
But when you'd
so-
hit a stranger back, were you hitting your stepfather?
Well,
You know what I mean?
no,
no,
it was
you
just
take it
anger.
out.
It was I had
Yeah,
a lot
you
of
had
anger
anger,
growing
you
up.
take it
So,
out.
yeah.
I was a little bit of a bitch. I played defense because I didn't want to get hit.
Well, that's
I wanted
actually,
to do all the hitting. I did not want to fucking get hit because I was a basketball
Actually,
player. I'm an excellent catcher.
Yeah.
No, fuck
I
that.
played Pop Warner.
I saw my
played
legs
safety.
disappear once. I
Yeah.
was like defense.
That was a lot of pressure. I didn't know it, but I could run really fast. But as a safety and a little dude, like I rarely went into action. But when it would come, you know what I mean? Like, oh shit, this one's me. They'd just fucking run right over me. You know, like 110 pounds, and I was a short kid too. Like my nickname in Little League was Sticks. Because that's what I looked like. I looked like drumsticks in a Little League uniform, you know. Just
My
a
nickname-
bum
my
rat.
nickname growing
I'm
up
sorry.
was.
I see little white kids walking around. They look like stick figures with big heads.
Yeah.
Like they really do. I'm just saying.
I was on the bus the other day, and this little skinny white kid, he had a weed hat, a weed medallion, a weed shirt, weed socks, and he smelled like weed.
How old is this kid?
No,
14, and I was this close to leaning over and go, "Excuse me, do you have any ID?" I wanted to fuck with
I'm
him,
gonna need
you
to
know?
confiscate that weed.
Yeah.
You
My
know,
friend,
I don't mind smoking, but weed will fuck you up when you're growing up.
Yes, it will.
Oh,
It
it's
will
not
fuck
good.
you up.
It is
will
a gateway
curb
drug.
you.
I don't care what you
By
say.
far, yeah.
No,
was my
I
gateway.
don't think
Alcohol.
No,
alcohol is more of a
alcohol
gateway
was-
drug.
No,
Childhood
like,
is a
weed
gateway
was-
drug.
It's just like this because like if you have an addictive personality, weed is definitely a gateway drug because it teaches you what a high is and you just go chasing a fucking rabbit.
What
If
think
you
about-
don't have an addictive personality, then hell no.
Can I have a lighter, Herb? Here's the thing. She never lets me use her. She thinks I
She
waste
takes
all
all
her-
my weed and then he uses all my fluid, drinks my liquor. It's
Ah.
the one thing I can hold back from and go, fuck you. Light it yourself.
Hey, I paid studio fees tonight. That's a rarity. I should pay 2 weeks right now, so
You should. You should.
I will.
You should. Yeah.
I'm gonna.
Because it'll be gone like when you come back.
But yeah, fucking like the bad thing about weed, like I had an uncle, God rest his soul, Uncle Dan. He's why I grew up to be a funny person in a sense. You know what I mean? He was hilarious.
Yeah.
Funniest. He just walk in the room and like smile at me and I'd fall apart. But he had bipolar, like you read about. You know, like, and when he became a teenager and started like taking acid and smoking weed, that's when it came out. Those are instances like, so this shit isn't for everybody. If you have
No.
severe anxiety,
Yeah,
you smoke weed, like I'm gonna have a panic attack. It doesn't agree with you, don't do it.
Yeah.
But if you are a heavy smoker and you're a comic, you go, oh, I smoke, but I wait till after my set. I'm like, you fucking Mary.
Yeah.
Teach yourself how to do it high. The more scared I am before a set, the better I feel.
Well, mine is more this. If I'm doing it, like whatever I do,
Right.
I don't exactly schedule when I do it and stuff
Right,
like that.
right,
so I
right.
don't want
That's
to
why you gotta
fuck with
teach
my
yourself.
lifestyle. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So if I'm a certain level, I'm like, oh, wait, you got to stop now. You got shit to do. But like, I know I'm still able to work.
Yes.
You gotta know your limits.
I am what they call a functional pothead or whatever. I always, to me, your priorities take preference.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I like to smoke. I like to get up. I like
If
to
any
get
of it
high.
got in the way, like I'll be honest, like when I left the Gutter Boys, at that point in comedy for me, I was coming out every night, but I was partying. The partying became more of a focal point, and you know, the stand up was a byproduct of it. And that's when I had to pull back.
See,
a
to
little,
me,
you
Coke
know.
was the big. And so I stay off that shit because I know. I mean, like you
Well,
say,
in what
I have
form?
that compulsive.
Coke is 3 different things for me. It's a
Yeah.
sniff, it's a smoke, or a shot. You
I-
know, if it's just a sniff, you give me a key bump before an
Oh,
open mic set.
Yeah, but when you're doing an 8-ball,
Right. When
you
the
know,
sun's coming up
yeah,
and you're like,
and-
yo, call Flacco, get him over
and
here
you're
again."
drinking a fifth, and
Yeah,
you're
that's when it gets
smoking a
messy.
half ounce. Yeah, that's time to
First time I went to
curb
LA
your
to do stand up,
enthusiasm.
I did a spot at just like this like coffee house, but it was really full, and I'm like, I'm horrified. And this dude comes over, he's like, where you from? I'm like, Boston. You going up? I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm really scared, and come with me. Takes me in the bathroom, right? And on the way, he got me a latte. He put 2 vodka nips in it, right? And then he digged into a bag of beautiful looking cocaine.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm gonna give you a 1-on-1, but I want you to do it twice. It was like, he said, go do your set. And I did fucking fantastic.
Excellent.
Later in the night, did another set when the cocaine wore off. Ate a boiled hockey bag full of dog piss. So.
That's a big
And
fucking
me and Kenny
bag
did a
of dog
show in the
shit.
Cape. Big up Edouard and AJ Haypenny, paperback comedy. Probably the best set I've ever had. And I didn't know. All night long, we were just waiting, drinking, having fun. Right before my set, and Kenny picked me up in Quincy, and we drove to the Cape. This is like 3 hours later. He goes, "You want to do a line of coke?" I'm like, "Duh!" Like, and I went up and I crushed in a way that, it was like, what do I got to become a cocaine addict to do that? Or that's not gonna work.
You
It's not
don't
realistic.
want to have that.
It's not realistic.
Did you like his? I liked his beard. I saw Kenny with the beard last
He's
night.
growing into him.
Yeah,
I think he
yeah.
needs different glasses. Those look like safety
I
glasses.
don't know.
He looks like he should be
He
fucking.
looked like a. I liked his glasses.
He needs like
Give him a
horn
shot.
rims, the dark ones.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
those
yeah,
are good.
yeah. When my daughter's mother met Kenny, right?
Hey, Kenny.
Because I was like, I didn't know Kenny was bi.
Kenny
That's
Weed, yeah.
kind of blew my mind. I didn't know. I've been like hanging with her every year for like 8. She's like, "Oh, you didn't see that twinkle in his eye? Like, come
Like-
on, you didn't see that?" I'm like, "I didn't. Now I see it."
Like finding out he was bi, I was like, oh, because like I thought he was gay before that. I was like,
Oh, you did?
I
didn't
actually,
know.
a lot of
I just
people-
thought he was
actually,
in
a lot of
his
people
Boston
did.
because like I have I can sense things with people, and with like I can sense when there's a little bit extra to you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
When you're putting off more energy than just
Kenny's
hey,
just
I'm
down to
macho.
party. If it's
And,
that
like,
kind of
he's
body,
just-
like, I
he's-
admire that. He's
He's
comfortable
down
with
for
himself.
anything. Down
Yeah.
for anything. Usually he's a bi person. Like they're down. There's no limits to them.
But Kenny will go on stage and like at a show, and he'll go up and he'll do his shit, and like 15% of it is sucking dick. And then he'll crush, right? Everyone
He'll
loves
kill it.
Then he goes to the bar and he starts rapping to a girl, and she doesn't want none of it. And he's
Yeah.
like, "What's up?"
Why?
Or
Yeah.
they'll go, "No, your friend's gay. Why he's hitting on me?" I'm like, he said he has kids.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like trust me, he likes pussy just as much
Actually,
as me.
when
you
I
know,
was,
like, your pussy's here, and then options up this guy. You know, he don't give a fuck.
when I was growing up, there was a friend of mine. They had a girlfriend come down, and she was so hot. And my friend goes, "Oh, forget it. She
How do
she
you
won't
mean?
like you because you're just too much of a guy, and she's not
Right.
gonna like you." And so I acted so. I mean, I
Right.
I let her in
Less
like
swishy?
the inside me,
Right,
you know?
right,
But
right.
nobody else knew that, and I was just so like effeminate and stuff, and she's like, "Oh, I am gonna make you so."
Yeah, but then you get her in bed, you're
Straight.
like, fucking manly on her, right? Roll up your sleeves, just pull your jeans to your
She's
knees.
her thing was like, "This is not your first time." That was her thing. You've done this before.
My first time, I got gonorrhea. Tommy OD, fun fact. It was a
Damn.
fat girl. She was a gypsy, too. A gypsy.
Yep,
Lived
that'll
across
give
the
it to you.
train tracks.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Gonorrhea. First time. So I figured, like, I'm 13. The first time I ever stuck my dick, I thought they
13?
were all
I
gonna
thought I
do
was
that.
young. I
It
was
took
14.
literally another year to be willing to stick my dick in a girl because I thought I was going to be pulling barbed
God,
wire out of
I-
my dick every time. Like pissing flames.
Oh,
And I had to go to my mother, my Irish mother from Somerville. I'm like, "Ma, something's wrong." She's like, "What? Your stomach ache?" I'm like, "No, it's down there." She goes, "What? Your appendix?" I'm like, "Nah, lower." "Does it burn when you pee?" I'm like, "Mom, I'm pissing flames." She's like, "Get in the fucking car." Took me to the Somerville hospital. I couldn't understand a word the fucking Indian doctor said. They swabbed my dick. You ever have
I
that done?
remember those.
They open it like a fishbowl
Yeah,
and go,
yeah.
whoop.
Yeah.
It's
oh,
quick. It's
fucking
quick.
painful.
It's like a
though.
whoop whoop. Like,
I
oh,
remember that,
the
dude.
shit still
Oh,
wakes
it's
me
not
up.
on the inside. They put that tube right in the
Yeah,
inside.
and then he
Yeah.
comes back 45 minutes later. I couldn't understand. The only word I heard was gonorrhea. And then out the door,
Wow,
penicillin. They
I'm
gave me
glad they don't
penicillin.
do that anymore.
Yeah, they don't, man.
You
but-
They
just
don't?
pee in a cup.
They don't.
Yeah,
they
they
perfected it.
You
They're-
can just pee or a blood test, and they can tell
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, I had to piss in a
Sticking
cup
something
today.
in your dick. Yeah,
I
no
did.
more. No more.
46
yeah, thank God
years
for
old.
that, dude.
Yo,
It's not probate. It's for my doctor.
Yo, I'm very happy that y'all got fucked with so that I don't have to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
that is the best thing about being born in the 1990s, man.
Right.
They had finished all the bad technology
Yeah.
on your assholes.
Yeah. It's like someone took a map and said, "No, are you going? No. If you go this way, you know,
This
just
is a little
don't go this
shortcut
way."
right there.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah.
do this shit.
That's how I am with like brand new comics that I see. You know,
Yeah.
if he goes up there and he has an okay set, but he leaves the mic stand in front of him and takes it out the whole time, I'm gonna go tell you, just
Move that shit.
say let a beat go by, hey, and then start talking. And my other peeve is when people run on stage. Please welcome Billy Fuckface, and Billy runs up, hey, like let a beat go by. You know what I mean? But unless that's your thing, that's the golden rule.
So
I
you were
can't
talking about your first time on stage. My first time,
take that.
I was doing Showgirls in P-Town.
Okay.
Showgirls is a big thing. It's like you win, like $500.
Is that a
and then
tougher crowd because there's no
there's something
shock
like
value to you? You know what I
there's
mean?
a whole
like,
there's a whole row. So no, most of the
Nice. You know
people
what
that
it
do
does. Shock.
no, most of the people that do Showgirls are drag queens that are just lip syncing a song. So I'm thinking, actually, my friend Jackie had done it a year before.
Stand up.
No, she is a singer.
Okay.
And she sings her own songs. So she sang her own song up there with her own soundtrack, and it's kind of like a boom 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 like beat on the back,
Right.
and it's kind of like almost rap.
You and me got to
bit,
do
but
a song and dance where I'm sitting at a piano
You don't
and
want
a
to hear
tux.
me sing, honey. I used
So
to
what happened?
sing.
How'd it go?
So she talked me into doing. She's like, "Oh, you should do this. You do," because she didn't do well because she wasn't doing drag and she's trans.
Did you drink
like
a lot
me.
because you were nervous?
So she's like, "You're funnier if you're drunk." So I had been staying down the
Got it
Cape
right.
for like 2 weeks. So I went out that afternoon, like noontime. Told my girlfriend, I'm gonna go out in the water. I'm gonna go,
Think about this.
yeah. So I went out and I
Stop
went over. I
drinking.
had my whole thing in my head. I kept going over it. I took 2 joints. I stuck them in my curls and I took my little floaty out and I'm just sitting out in the water and smoked the first joint. Then I smoked the second
Did
joint.
you think I got this?
Oh, I knew I had it.
Yeah.
I knew I had it.
What happened? Showtime.
So then I went in shore and I'm like, it's like 3 o'clock apart. So I went down to a bar that one of my friends owns down there, and her girlfriend was working the bar, and so she makes me a drink, and it was weak and strong, and she made me
Diesel.
a second drink, and then a third drink, and then I met my friend Jackie, who just came to town, and so then we went out and we had a couple of drinks. Then we went back to the house. I had dinner, and I had another 2 drinks.
Right.
So I'm like 6 in at this point.
That's
so-
before you walk through the front door.
Now,
with
I
the
had-
bar.
Previously had my knee surgery like 6 months before, so I hadn't been walking in heels.
I thought you were gonna say you had Percocet.
But that day, I decided to wear my 6-inch stiletto boots. My thigh-high boots, and
right.
they're like 6-inch heels. And I fine walking from the place all the way downtown to where we were going. Got in there and had my name on there like you're second to last. I'm like, good, I got enough time for another
And
drink.
you were so brand new, you didn't realize that's not a good spot.
No,
You
so-
want to go when the room's hot. And it's
So I had another drink, and as soon as I'm like sipping, and then all of a sudden I feel a tap on the shoulder. They're like, "You're next." I'm like, "I'm second to last." And then I'm like, "No, we're gonna
No.
put you on second."
Yeah. Oh. They had faith in you.
Oh.
That's why they were
So-
looking at you like.
But going on the
Wow.
stage, so the first step was like this tall, but the second step was like this tall.
Tell
So
me
the
you
back
fell
of
down,
the back of my
please.
heel caught onto it, and I almost fell. And there was this
Did you stumble, Mitch?
there was a gap. Oh yeah, I stumbled. There was a gap between the wall and where you could have gone down. And I put my hand out and I grabbed the wall, and I
And
turned
you looked
around,
like a drunk person.
and I had a
falling
full
down.
drink in my hand. I go,
Didn't spill it.
I didn't spill a fucking drop, and the whole audience went,
Yeah.
"Ah!" And then I turned around and the spotlight like right in my face. I'm
And
like,
you think you can see
Jesus
people, but you
Christ.
can't. When it's that
No,
bright,
I
you
saw
can't see
nobody.
them. I can't
I-
connect. when it's
I
that
turned around
bright.
and go, Jesus
Oh,
Christ, no
wow.
wonder why Michael Jackson turned white. And of course, everybody they're laughing. They're like, ah. And the host
Yeah, they
goes,
killed me.
I think Mitzi's half in the back. And the guest goes,
But how'd your set go?
she's I think, all the way in the back. They cut me off.
She broke.
They cut me right off. They go, we're going to bring back Mitzi when she's a little more sober. We love her. She's funny.
But you
And they were
got
really
laughs,
nice.
Yeah. Well, you know what? They might have saved you.
Oh, they did.
It's one thing to
They
be
did.
quick off the cuff when you're out.
But it took me a
But
while.
then you go, okay, what did I write? And that's when it's hard
Yeah.
to sell when you're
Yeah.
brand new. My first set, in a nutshell, was at rest in peace. God love. Oh man, the Iron Furnace in Quincy Center. Comic Sean. He does the Pick a Side Stupid.
Yeah.
Carter.
Right, Sean Carter. There's a room called the Iron Furnace. Awesome, like bar restaurant with this function room in the back. And they did it up and made it show business like the gutter mic does, but the curtain backdrop, the stool, the spotlight, the mic, the whole bang a bang. And it was not an open mic, it was a show. And they had 2 lottery spots. And it was my first time walking in the door. And I threw my name in the bucket like, please don't pick my name. Please don't pick my name. And he goes up there and he pulls it out and he just reads it. And I wasn't Tommy O'Deed yet. He goes, Tommy Williams, what the fuck, we gotta put this fucking asshole up. You know, just the name. And I went up and I was everything they expected me to be. And I ate dick so hard. Crickets.
I've eaten
I
hard
was up
dick.
there for 2 minutes and 10 seconds because I recorded.
I've eaten hard
And
dick.
you know what?
Plenty
When
of
I
times.
walked off,
I like it.
the embarrassment and horror that I
Smoke
felt
this one.
was awesome. And I was like, now I know what I'm up against. And then it began. And here I am. This is right now is my 4-year anniversary of stand-up.
Same here.
See,
Going
I
into
didn't
my
want to go up again.
2020.
It was
Book me. I'm looking to book again.
it was
working hard.
Penny. Actually, you gave Penny a lot of shit. So I was
Oh, I love Penny.
I was playing a pool tournament at Jocks, and
You hit Penny with a pool stick. That was you.
no, she came up. She goes like, "You guys," because we'd always be in the corner, and we'd be getting more laughs than the comedians were on stage.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, the
yeah.
fucking. Oh, they murder.
Dude,
Yeah.
it's hilarious.
Every time when I see
Yeah,
people go
everybody-
smoke a butter piss, I'm like, get up there. You know,
Yeah.
I've been dying
Right.
on one of your shows, and the bartender lights the room up.
Oh,
And
Ronnie
then I
is
could finish my
Ronnie
set,
is
you know?
hysterical.
That's
That's
his
funny.
name is Ron.
Yeah,
Because I confused him.
you were
with
at my
another
last
one.
show, right? My last S&M show.
I wasn't.
Oh, I got him to go up.
Oh, yeah,
So-
How'd he do?
So yeah, he nailed it.
He's fucking
Yeah.
hilarious.
Who's
Yes.
the other person who was there last night? Younger dude, dark hair, does drag, but was in makeup.
Oh, Amanda Play with. Yeah,
Who?
yeah. Amanda Play with.
That's a great name.
Yeah, yeah,
That
she's
is a great
she's.
You can make
Oh,
a rap
So
album. with
the
that
one
name.
thing about a lot of these drag queens is they're
Wow.
on stage all the time.
You know, there's other drag
they
queens
have
online
quick
that
wit.
see that and they go, "Fuck! Why didn't I think of that?" You know
Well,
what I mean?
no, I'm telling you, I could
Like
do.
one
I
person
could
came
do
up
a
with
show
Sharon
with
Needles
just
for the
drag
first time.
queens, and it would be hysterical.
Do you
Hell yeah.
know?
They're
any
funnier
of
than
the,
I am. I
Do you
think.
know any of the like known what's that one? Because I was thinking you should try to reach out to
Oh, the ones
like
that have made it.
Katya. Yeah.
Katya,
yeah. When they're in
So
Boston.
Katya, I have a
They
picture.
would come into this
She's
room.
actually in my new poster. My
That's
new poster,
dope.
yeah.
Get
when
her
she
to
was
come
just into
on.
town.
Oh, she's hilarious. dude.
Katya, you gotta give her
Oh,
money.
Lord.
But whatever.
So
What
I-
is- give
she-
you a little money, not much, but
She's
you
funny,
don't know
funny
that.
person.
You don't know that. For a podcast.
Juju B, she was another one from Jocks. She's been on
Start
there.
reaching out to
they're
them,
all
'cause-
they're all funny.
Like me teaming up with
So
Mitzi
mine
was
is I used to work in Played Against Sam's Comedy Cellar.
back in the day.
Yeah, and that was like
And you
Bob
weren't doing
Goldwait,
stand-up.
Stephen Wright. No, I was a bouncer bartender then.
Wow, so you got
And
to see some.
I
of
just wanted to
some
like
greats.
see if I could reach out to them
Did
and
you
say.
think about it then, though? When you see
no,
them
because
doing
I
it?
was so hiding who I was.
Yeah,
I was playing the
So
god.
that makes your
you know.
stand-up journey that much more important. It's just not that like you became
That
who
was
you
a whole
wanted to
other
be.
life.
Now you have a voice and a mouth. You know what I mean? Like,
I feel it's very hard to do stand up and be fake.
yeah, you can smell
I
it
found
real
it
quick.
very, very. I find it very hard because most people that like you can tell they're putting on a persona or stuff like that instantly
Right.
becomes unfunny.
Yeah, but
What I
isn't-
hate
isn't
is,
that
like-
the way everybody tackles it at the beginning?
Not
Eh,
everyone.
No,
not
everybody has a
everyone.
different journey. Like you'll
Yeah.
see like a pretty young girl come in and she'll go up and she'll make one filthy joke and crush with it and she'll go, "Oh, that's what I do." And then they get stuck doing it for 3 years. But that was like my first year and a half, 2 years. I was saying some really egregious shit on stage. You know what I mean? Like, and I didn't see that it was. Now I understand.
See,
Trigger.
mine,
Like I hear the word junkie or loser. It hurts my feelings a little bit because I've been a junkie, I've been a loser. So I
So,
understand when you
Here's
say
part of the
faggot or,
poster,
you
but
know,
yeah, there's Katya
you
right
hear
there.
that again.
'Cause when she
Cool.
was in town last time.
Get her
she
to
came
come
by.
and do the podcast. Reach
Yeah,
out to her and
yeah.
do it. For real. This podcast, what's dope about it, there's no other Boston comedy podcast that's so open door to the female side of comedy. You know what I mean?
Actually, there are a lot.
I mean, we try to
there's
be.
so
We
many
definitely
girls.
do.
Everyone,
Like
there's
I've
not
said.
enough, but there's enough good ones.
There was one of the girls
Oh,
brought up a couple weeks
Catch me
ago.
on the
She
King's
was a full
podcast.
drag.
Might as well do the plug at that moment.
Fucking right. Is that your podcast?
Yes, sir.
I like
We
the
go
name.
over relationship issues
What's the,
and
what's the name of it?
King's podcast.
Have I ever been invited?
You haven't
Tommy,
yet.
have you ever been invited?
I
Not
think
yet.
because we brought him on here.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
maybe.
So
Don't
last
worry,
night we
don't
gave
worry,
away.
don't worry, relax.
But that's how it works. I can't remember a comic's name until we have a one-on-one where something is, you know what I mean?
No, I mean
built.
you just recently have started talking a lot. I mean, honestly, in the last.
How do you not know? I mean, once you hear the name charismatic, you can't fucking ever forget.
And honestly,
I mean,
I'm
I
gonna
love
tell a
that.
Tommy O'Deed secret. I love podcasting, and I haven't been doing this for a while. When I was doing it, I was getting booked all the time because I'm bringing bookers on here.
I
You get them drunk,
I
you
don't
get them
give-
outside, go, you let me get a spot. They go, phone out. Can you do the 14th? Like, boom, got the spot.
I got booked in
And
the
then you
beginning,
stop
but
and you
I haven't
just
been getting booked.
Try
at
to
all.
have a
Yeah,
good
mine
set and
slowed
build
up
a
a lot,
relationship.
too.
You say I don't ask for spots, and you should.
Well, I don't.
You should. You should.
Well, that was like last night.
You'd be
Okay,
surprised.
So last night I
how
got
easy-
upset, and I don't understand going to a
Oh.
mic, and you have a bucket. So if you have a bucket, you go over to the bucket and you pull 4 fucking names out. You don't
You
go
see 'em
out in
pull-
the
just
bucket,
and put one
pull
back.
and,
you know?
and put 4 of them back and say this is the ones I want up. And
Well, that
Wait,
mindset
somebody
I'm
comes in-
When we
in.
got this mic? When we got this mic?
somebody comes in 2 after, or 10, 20 minutes
It's
after me,
frustrating.
and gets up on the stage 20 minutes before me. I'm like,
Now,
okay,
do you
so
think
you
the
don't think I'm
marriage
funny?
should be?
Well,
I
basically,
see.
any mic that I've seen that happen, I don't go to anymore.
Well, I'm,
Here's the thing: when that happens to me,
So-
like I'm there for 2 hours.
so that yeah.
This goof rolls in that I don't
Yeah.
like, and he just goes up in 10 minutes. I'm
Yeah.
like, you know.
So this is why I
You
haven't
gotta take it.
haven't gone to
You
this
gotta
mic,
take it.
and that's why I don't want to say the name, but I haven't gone to this mic in a while because
Well, that's why they're not
pisses
putting you
me
up
off.
because you're not going. If you go every week, listen, I went to that one every single week for a while.
right,
And did well.
but even
and
then
then the
it was
host
like
flipped.
even then you're like okay, once in a while they put you up front, and then they let you
When
so
Terrence
it's
left
kinda,
and went to LA,
Yeah.
that's when. Because I just go
You're not
up. I
supposed
wouldn't
to
even
say
light
names.
a cigarette. He'd be like, "Yo, you're next."
You're not
club,
supposed to
next
say
club,"
names.
You know.
Hmm.
Of course you can. Put
because
the
I
puzzle
love the
together.
host.
I love that room.
I love the
her
host.
too.
I think she's
Yeah, it's
funny
a
as
different
shit.
style of a lift.
Yeah.
Like
Yes,
I
it
would,
is.
any mics I've ever done, I run show and go. Show up, go up.
That's what
you
I
might
like.
get bumped.
Yeah, I like show
fucking
and go.
MC Cool Kid.
Yeah.
You know,
Or
it happens.
or somebody's
yeah,
coming
but
from New
Because you're buying
Hampshire.
favor with
they
me.
have to
Oh,
be
you wanna
out,
get it? Yeah, put me
There-
up.
there's
Then when you want to get in
exceptions.
his room, it's easier. Sorry.
There's exceptions, without a doubt. But yeah, I like the show and go mics, without a doubt.
Definitely
the best.
same.
And it's the reason why you show up early
Yeah.
to a mic. I mean, to mine,
Even if they
to
jump
mine
around
are
a little,
people
it's
who
okay.
are also actually buying drinks at your establishment,
Yeah.
because I mean the bottom line is these people are letting us do our shows
Right.
in bars
Right.
and
If you're all
clubs,
drinking water,
right?
it's
And
pointless.
and a good 75% of these
Yeah.
comedians, they got their little books, they got their little glass of water, they're not spending a fucking
Right.
penny there.
they'll get
but
the
you're
water and
fucking
they'll
putting
drop
them on,
$2 and that's
No.
it.
you know.
You know, a water will last a nerd till
Yeah.
he goes up. But then again,
You're not
do you
wrong.
want the booze hounds though? You know what I mean? Like
Well, no,
that doesn't
yeah.
exist anymore. Like 30 years ago, Boston comedy, we would have been ripping coke off this table. You know what I mean? It was buck wild.
Well, that
Now
was the one
it's-
you were. Yeah, I
it's
was saying
far
about some of
more,
the old.
conservative.
I lived right across the street from where I work, and comedians used to come over all the time, and we'd be doing mescaline
Right,
parties
right,
and shit
right.
like that.
Drugs and
And
comedy is
my,
fun.
my friends
I'm
would
not gonna
call
lie.
the next day.
I
They
don't
go,
suggest it,
"My
but-
stomach and face hurt." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Huh?" They go, "I've never fucking laughed so hard in my life."
That's
But
how I
we
found
would
out I
laugh
had
until-
I have emphysema. Big D fucked a chubby girl in Worcester after a show he did at the Motel Vernon.
I've heard the
And
story
then
so
he
many
was walking
times.
around the house, butterball naked. But big D walks out, just doesn't say where, goes to the fridge, opens the door, gets her 2-liter of Pepsi and goes, and just drinks it. Kenny pulled his dick out, it got weird, it got crazy.
Yeah.
Then
I know how to
the
go places
girl,
with y'all.
listen, the girl kissed Sean Sorrow on the ride home. He goes, all I could smell was Big D's dick. And that was when I found out I had
I love
emphysema.
Sean.
That's
I
fun.
laughed
That's
so hard that
that's
night.
funny, right? That's
Yeah,
comedy.
that's
That's comedy.
And she didn't like me. She thought I was mean because they were like trying to fuck her, and I'm like, ugh. Yeah.
She wanted
Yeah.
you to fuck her. You
I
didn't
was
wanna
good.
fuck
I
her.
was good. It was gross. The apartment she took it to was disgusting. It smelled like there was a layer of mayonnaise and cheese on
Ew,
it. Just like that
man.
cheesy, like it smelled like asshole and feet. It was, yeah.
Oh, you just
And I
make
was
it
the
so
mean one
attractive.
because I didn't want to get down.
No, you're the B one because you thought
And then,
asshole
listen,
and feet
at
when
one
you
point
walked
in the
inside
kitchen,
apartment.
right,
What the fuck?
Sean tries to kiss her, right, and then she gives him a little kiss, and then Kenny goes, and he comes in with his pants to his knees and his dick hanging, and she's like, oh, get out. He's like, oh, I guess I read it wrong. You know? And then I'm over there
You do
like
a
this, and like, you
great
guys are
Kenny.
nuts, dude.
You
This
do a
girl's
great Kenny
fucking,
Capozzi.
she's
voice.
definitely
Yeah, he
getting
does.
it. This is a Section 8
I love it.
sexcapade. That's what that was. It was like a
Is that
Section
dead?
8
Is
food
that dead
stamp
there?
funded
Did you kill it?
Social Security, disability, psychiatric She had cankles. I was like, dude, we're gonna catch a case for this. Like,
I
it
have
was
a,
like when you
Oh,
fucked
wow.
a retarded guy.
I have-
you know?
I-
She was so willing, though. I'll just say
I-
that right now.
okay.
It was a fun night.
that is comedy. I've never
Yeah.
fucked anybody with special needs. I've been the
That
one.
you know of.
I fucked a couple
No,
really
I have
dumb
a
girls.
few people who have said that they have fucked somebody with special needs, but I think I was that person.
You didn't say special needs. Though.
No,
You
I
said-
didn't. I said retarded.
You kept it real.
I did.
You
Yeah.
know?
She
Sorry.
said, "Dee-dee-dee."
Yeah.
You know.
Like, and I edited my joke last night about my son, where I said, "Oh, you try cleaning mayonnaise off the wall at 3 in the morning." But it really was you try cleaning shit off the
So
wall.
what
at
what
3 in the
pissed me
morning.
off last night? I wanted
A
to.
15-year-old, yeah.
I
Should've
want
left
to.
it-
I
should've
wanted
left
to
it.
make that the little bit that we were talking about the joke that I was doing.
Oh,
So
yeah.
holiday, Christmas time. Last year around this time, I met this guy, and his name was Jesus. He was a lawyer from Kansas City, and he actually was born on the
Get money in a
25th,
big hog.
25th of December. Same
Wow.
birthday. And his parents had a sense of humor. They named him Jesus or whatever. And so I'm like, could have been the second coming of Christ. So yeah, I went home with them. I let him fuck me.
You got it.
Like,
You got
you
Christ
don't
to come?
know. You don't know. It could have been like, I could show up to heaven and go, oh, no, she didn't go. She gave it to me.
Yeah.
But
Did you bang her?
I didn't know.
I don't know, but
Jesus,
Jesus.
But
She gave Christ
yeah.
his third coming. That's all it was.
No, the punchline was something like, Jesus, whatever. I was like, Jesus Christ.
No, yeah. Well,
Getting
that's
pounded.
that's
So,
what I.
so you like a bottom? These are personal questions.
Am I a bottom?
Yeah, or a top.
Oh,
Really, you have to
Yeah.
ask.
I don't know. I don't want to assume.
She hasn't left anything up to assumption.
Like she could be like a vicious inmate, or she could be
actually,
the
I
good side.
I wish I was. I wish I was a top. I wish.
I
I wish I was a top because there's so many times that like people that's what they want. They want because I have that authoritative. I am very authoritative in everything I do.
You're not the
except
dom?
in the bedroom. No.
You know.
You're not the dom.
So
Okay.
you guys want to hear something? A
Like
weird.
mistress,
Well,
mistress.
No, I like
something
being
that I thought was
spanked. I like
weird.
being tied.
So like I have a friend, and it's a trans friend of mine. She used to prostitute.
We all
And
did.
I mean, she told me
Yeah,
that like
most of us. Yeah.
most of the time
I
the
mean,
guys
I have done it.
the
I-
guys
I
would want
can't
to
say I
bottom,
haven't.
or they'd want
Yeah.
to suck dick, or like
Yeah. Oh yeah.
they wouldn't like.
Yeah.
They're not there to fuck. They're there to be fucked
Yeah.
or suck dick.
If I could blow up on Craigslist right now, eating out elderly women, I'd do it.
like,
I like.
If you could
it's
what?
interesting.
Craigslist isn't
Like
even
if,
there
or
anymore. is it?
whatever, or
Craigslist
whatever.
doesn't
Like
work
fucking
anymore.
cougars.
Took that
I
shit
love
down.
cougars.
There you go.
I can.
Wait, what's a cougar to you? How old are you?
I'm 46.
So what's a cougar to you? Isn't that like a mountain lion or
38
some
plus.
shit? I don't even know.
38
Like,
plus. But here's the thing.
I'm a cougar.
I'm so immature. Like my brain, I think like
I'm more like a panther.
my.
I say Black Panther, but I'm
there
Sicilian.
you go. There
Yeah,
you go.
yeah.
There you go.
Well, Sicilian, you know.
Yeah.
The Moors rolled over. I forgot what the fuck
I
I was
used
just
to-
gonna
I used
say
to
right
say
there,
that-
'cause it was
so-
good. Fuck.
So you said the Moors rolled over. That was my favorite, True Romance.
Yeah,
My
yeah,
favorite
yeah,
fucking
yeah.
line in the whole movie is,
When he
he's
kills him.
about to get shot, and he
Yeah,
says the
yeah.
whole thing.
Your grandmother
yeah.
got fucked
Yeah.
by you know,
All
like,
Italians had blonde hair and blue eyes till the Moors invaded
Yeah,
them.
in the
Why do
north.
you think? And so I used to say to my dad all the time, like, Dad, I mean, look how fucking curly my hair is. You
yeah,
know?
yeah.
I'm like, look how dark we get in the summertime. I'm
Hey,
like,
my mother's name
like,
was Williams.
even in the winter, I'm fucking darker than the
Yeah,
white
you-
people.
I just thought you were
I'm like-
straight like Italian.
I
when you
like,
told me that.
I don't know about you, Dad, but I'm big, and that's darker than the
Was
rest
your
of
dad
me.
big?
I
And
thought
he
to
would get
myself-
so mad he couldn't even say anything.
I thought to myself a few times, had the Romans lost a few wars, a lot of you guys would have tanned way better. You know what I mean?
Actually, yeah.
A lot of you guys would
We
have
tan
tanned
enough, though.
way
Like, I'm
better.
happy
All the
still. I
Italians
get it.
south of
I
Rome
don't
do
burn
it really
You know
well.
what I'm saying?
It's the north. Yeah, it's the north of Rome that they don't know how to.
We just
tan.
got a little further up there.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So
But
like
yes,
my
south of
guys,
Rome.
listen. My father's name
black.
was Grillo.
Okay.
Grillo from East Boston. Sicilian Grillo from East Boston. My mother was Irish from Somerville. Her last name was Williams, which it used to be O. Williams. But when they moved here, they wanted to get a job, so they cut off the O. And every time, like, my father would be watching football, he'd be like, Karen, your people are playing football. Because all the jerseys would be black dudes with Williams.
Williams.
Right, so that was his joke. So in 10th grade, I turned to my teacher. I go, why are there so many black people with my last name? And she goes like this. I swear to God, she shut the door.
Mm-hmm.
Because, well, your people might have been slave owners. And when they, you know, they let them free, they said, where you from? I'm from the Williams plantation. All right. Go over there with the other William. You know what I mean?
Oh, shit.
And it made me go, oh, I'm not proud of that. That's But I am like tried and true white trash. So I get that my white mug and my pointy features would, you know, unfortunately go longer than a black dude or a trans. You know what I mean? You put a suit on me, I could lie. I could tell some horrible lies.
You wouldn't even have to lie. You could just be like, I did some shit. They'd be like, all right, Mr. White Man. Like,
yeah. But I can get away with it. I think white guys. Yeah, we got a bit of a leg up because authority tends to be older people.
Do you trust
authority is older than
do I trust white men?
Do you?
Fuck no.
Okay, I don't.
Smart white dudes
I don't know anybody
that
that
does.
does.
Engineer, do you trust white men? And he's a white man. I mean, well, somewhat. He doesn't really look white.
The majority of people that fuck you over.
Hey, you can't be Puerto Rican and white. They're not mutually exclusive.
Actually,
they are.
That's
pretty
a
much
mix.
are.
It's out there.
You know what I'm saying?
Even if you're white, you're Puerto Rican. You're not really
I'm
white.
afraid of Puerto Rican women.
That's like saying you're
That's
Italian
only
and
to
white.
white people, okay? If the DNA test white, you white. I don't care if you speak in Espanol. You know what I mean?
But
Like,
every white
you gotta have
person
he looks like he has some indigenous in him. He does look like
he
that.
could be anything.
That's my dad.
There you go. You look like you have some
Right.
Boricua in you. That's the difference. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a
What's your
good-looking
last-
man.
I don't even know how to say Herb's last name.
It's Italian. It sucks. It's Morsiglio.
Morsiglio.
Wow.
You know? Oh man, wait.
See,
Marsiglio,
that's a
and you're
lot
Puerto
of
Rican?
Can't
That
tell-
sounds so
can't-
Italian.
You should
I
be
can't tell you.
cooking
Can I tell you a
pizza
funny
or
thing
something.
about that, dude?
Please.
That's
So
Ginzo.
like, it is super Italian. I think it was my grandfather just moved to Puerto Rico and married like 4 women at the same time.
Boom.
Nice.
That's
Then,
very
like,
Italian.
The scary thing is, it's like it's around like somebody brought up that it was around World War II things, dude. So I'm like really afraid. If my grandfather was a Nazi, he just escaped to Puerto Rico and just started banging like dark
Oh,
women.
that's
dude.
what
That's really scary,
they
dude.
went to
Like,
Latin
That was
America,
really fucking smart.
Argentina.
That was really smart.
I'm just saying, dude. Like I'm like, oh man, that's a scary
You know
thing.
what, though,
I
Harvey?
never
You got
wanna find
away.
out.
And you were hanging out.
Yeah, right.
And
Like,
you're
I have a
Italian.
horrible thought about black people.
So you should have a DNA test.
I'm gonna go there.
No,
Maybe
do it, do it,
60%
do it,
German,
do it.
60%
I
Guys,
love
listen,
these.
I'm
I'll find out, dude.
I'm going out on a limb.
No, you're Austrian.
Pass me that fireball as you go on this list.
Yeah. Gonna need it. Take a big one.
That's
Let's
awesome.
go.
And I don't mean this in a fucked up way at all. So, it's hard.
This is gonna be.
No, I don't want to say as hard.
Whenever he
I'm
says
just gonna
that, I
say
don't mean
we
to say
know
fucked
You're
up
not gonna
way.
expect my
It's
answer.
gonna sound
Slavery-
fucked up.
Slavery it's fucking horrific. It's horrific. There's been just as many like white or Middle Eastern slaves as black people.
Actually,
And
if
here's
you
the thing,
go
right?
back in history,
Or, right, let's say there wasn't I'll put it on me. Let's say there wasn't a potato famine in Ireland. They were like, oh, we gotta go to America. They pitched in for a fucking boat ride. They got, like, I'm from that. As horrific as slavery was, if it didn't happen, your blood, you, wouldn't exist in this country. You know what I mean? Like, maybe they would have got Arab slaves. And
How do you
that's
figure?
You know what I
This
mean?
is-
they were very.
This is what
So I'm not saying like, hey, well, at least they got you here, but at least
See,
at least it got you
See,
here.
this is the funny part because this was what I was gonna tell you that I was gonna fuck you up a little bit because like, nah, my parents flew over.
Darby's so racist.
I'm
No,
not-
he's
I'm
good.
not-
He's good. He's
I'm
good.
not.
Oh no, he's racist.
He just don't know.
Yeah,
He just don't know. He just don't
If
know.
we hadn't enslaved you, you wouldn't be here in America.
Like, like I'm mainland. I'm mainland. My ancestors were the one that caught and sold them to your people. You know what I mean? So like my
That's
my
business.
parents flew over quite recently.
Right.
So like now we got here because but like I definitely
You know
dig what
what
you're
I'm
saying.
saying?
Like I had this
Same as the potato
I
farm.
had this conversation
thing.
with a black woman the other day. I was with another African black woman. I was like, yo, isn't it kind of funny that our ancestors sold them off, but I think they're doing better than all Africans at this point in time. Think
Well-
about it. A black American.
Well, this white old money.
Black
You guys are
Americans
only
versus
14%
Africans?
of the population.
You know what I'm saying? No, I know, but like think
Oh,
about
you're-
how much
you're
black people
small
in this, how
majority.
many black people on this continent hold wealth
Right.
versus how many people on the black people on the African continent hold wealth. All these people were
Actually,
sold off as slaves. They're probably doing a little bit better than Africa in general.
As an African American man,
no,
you hold other black
diamond
people
mine owners in
accountable.
Africa.
Diamond mine owners, but like those are all 1%, and they're not gonna have many of those in each country because they're gonna kill each other. You know what I'm saying? So you're not gonna have.
Hey, let's take it
There's
back
a
to the
lot-
street here, right? You agree? I see a guy like Jay-Z, and I'm like, he's been in this game for like 2 decades plus,
Yeah.
but he'll still rap about pumping coke, right?
Yeah.
He's narrating the streets, but black people are only 14% of our population.
Yeah.
What?
As a black person, do
Yeah,
you
it's
feel
about
that
14.
those people should be held accountable
Actually-
to put their money back into to build a black?
I mean,
You know what I'm saying? To
a
build
lot
a
of them
black.
have started
Yes.
doing that right
Oh,
now.
they all. Yeah.
I mean, the
Yeah.
athletes are doing it more so than the rappers.
Absolutely.
But I mean,
I think that's a
I
dope thing.
expect that. I mean,
So is my
athletes-
question fucked up though? Like, hey.
No, it's a real question.
Put it
Just
with the
people
potato
listen at
thing.
it. It's a hard question to ask, but it's a real fucking question.
Right.
So
right.
my big thing is, are any of us of one race? I mean, come on.
No.
No,
we're all
no.
mutts.
We're all
The
mutts.
fact of the matter is that you said, well, what?
Mutts.
Mutts.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
but like at the root of that, they know where the origin of humanity is, right?
Yeah.
So that means no matter what,
Well, it
we're
started with
all
black
one to
people.
begin with. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
Sorry, black
So like, my father was a Pan-African. I'm a Pan-African. To be Pan-African, that means that we believe that the whole world came from Africa. So that I have no.
No,
I
but
have
civilization
way I can
literally
yell at
came
anybody.
from there.
Yeah,
That's
so like,
where it started.
so then you're
Yeah.
African, then you're
Yeah,
African,
it
you're
depends
African.
on where
you
you
know what I'm
move
saying? Like,
to and how your skin adjusted to
The sunlight.
The sunlight.
that's it. So like,
Yeah.
we're all children of
Yeah.
Africa. So I have no beefs with anybody. All right, yeah. Some children don't treat their siblings as good as they should. That shit happens.
Well,
All
there's
right,
some-
one sibling's been winning
Yeah,
for a really
okay.
long time. You know what
So-
I
Is
mean?
this fucked up?
Okay.
I think the one family home thing with black kids growing up is a problem, and statistically, there's too much of that.
What?
True.
Like, I was a poor white kid from a
but
one family home.
also
Yeah,
in the
so
black
was
community,
I.
in the black
Poverty.
community, there is no what is
Their
it
role
called?
model is fucking.
There's no
ravaged.
generational wealth built into the black community at
And
all.
that goes back to my
So-
question
But
about
that's
a
my
guy-
generation.
most of them-
That's my
most of them-
family
You
too.
put it
Yeah,
back.
you know.
Most of them survive on the what is it called? What's the public system that helps you out? What is it called? Welfare.
Yeah.
And with welfare, you can't have an able-bodied man living in the house and they
Right,
supply you.
you're right,
So they
you're right.
break the house before
Right,
you even
right,
get to that
you're
point. So
right,
that's
you're
why
right.
there's so many live in that position.
I've banged
If
girls
there
that
was
say,
some-
you can't be here, I might lose my Section 8. You can come bang me, but you can't sleep
If there
there
was some
for a
generational
That's
wealth,
why
because
my mom
I'm
was
a
kicked
dual
out.
engineer and I have a hard time finding jobs. I'm a
What
black
kind?
guy with
What
tool
kind of
engineering.
engineer?
I'm an
Wow.
electromechanical engineer and I have a hard time finding jobs.
So Tommy thinks I have a leg up because I'm transgender.
A little bit. I think you do. I think
No,
you
no.
do.
You see, like,
You're a lawsuit.
You
No,
have
no,
your
you see,
possibility,
no,
you know what I mean?
you don't
I was
understand how hard
discriminated
that
against,
is.
give the eyebrows
Because
up.
like that's the way.
Legally, you're protected.
No, you see, that's the way he looks at it. Legally, you're protected, but legally, you control all the legal
Yes,
laws.
but
You know what I'm saying?
Do you know how
legally,
hard
you
it is
think
to
you're
prove?
protected.
I
you know
share
how
blood
hard
with
it
some
is to
people that
prove
want
that.
nothing to do with me that control all those legal laws.
Exactly, and they probably don't look at her
Yeah.
that way. You know what I'm saying? And
right,
then that's what it is. Yeah, I have laws that are standing in my favor, but how many people actually use those laws to help me out? Very few.
Right. But here's the thing: the spotlight's on people now. You can't handle a person like Mitzi and be as shitty as they would
If
be
there's a camera on you.
10,
So,
15
I
years
have-
ago.
I have a
like,
joke.
Okay,
I have a
because they
joke.
be- you
I
know
have
what
a
I mean?
joke. I am
You
the T
jump
on the
down.
T.
Bit.
I
They can do it.
knew I could get an extra seat on the train and the bus for being transgender. I would have transitioned 20, 30 years ago.
Right.
That's a fucking joke. But that comes from fucking reality.
Yeah.
I take the T every
Nobody will sit
fucking
next to
day.
you.
right.
Night, unless the whole thing
Yeah,
is
but-
full. And I've seen the
Everybody
whole
on the
bus
train is
full.
out of the corner of the eye. I'd be like,
And
"God,
I've
this
seen-
lady needs
And
it,"
I
you
have
know what I
seen
mean?
the
Like,
whole time, like
Yeah.
the whole bus will be full. There'll be one seat, and people will stand like, all right.
Well,
And
you
then
know
there'll be
what?
one, like,
you should
okay, I'll
like
sit.
that though. That's like people.
Oh, I
say
do.
when the national anthem.
Why didn't
get
I
up,
make a
you know
joke
what I mean?
about
Like,
it?
yeah,
You know,
there you go.
if
there you
I
go.
knew I could get, I mean, I have space. I don't have
Right.
somebody's, you know, but there is that time that, like you say, people have those blinders on,
Right.
and it's always the big fucking fat person that's
Yeah.
gonna squish.
Like I've only known
drop
you
their
for
ass
going
and
on
they
a couple of
squish
years.
in.
man.
It's like you knew you couldn't fit here. You
Yeah,
knew you couldn't
could
fit here.
there.
Charismatic.
So now
You
my
watched-
arms are like this.
on Veterans Day, Mitzi posted her military picture. Right?
Yeah.
And that was like, whoa, I'd never seen that. I thought it was cool that you did it. That you put the dead name and the dead dude up.
Yeah.
You know, I looked at him like, that's a handsome kid. Handsome kid.
I
You know?
was a
that.
handsome
I respect that. Like I'm sorry. I hate the trans people that act like they forget where they came from. You know what I'm saying? Like I understand.
yeah.
Like
Me and Mitzi
you
talked
can't-
about break. He's like,
like-
"Which one? Oh, about that one on the podcast." Me and Mitzi was like, "No, I can't deal with that kind." Of
Like-
you know what I mean?
Like I mean,
what?
like I hear some trans people. They'll be like, I just don't get men.
Oh, I get mad because I was one.
Like I'll sit there. I'll literally sit there. I'm like, but you were one for 20-something years.
Yeah.
How the hell are you saying this right
Well,
now?
you know, okay, so you say you're one for 20. I mean, because I didn't transition until I was in my 40s.
I know. I'm just talking about people
How
my
long
age,
have
but
you
like,
been-
yeah.
So I didn't transition late, but I was really never a man. Even though I lived in a man's world,
Yeah,
I lived as
I can understand that.
I mean, I literally, when I was in high school, I would be in these dressing rooms, and I'm like, somebody's gonna know. What are these guys gotta know? I'm
Did you
not
seek
really a
out
guy.
like groups of people that would be, you know what I
No,
mean? No.
I went the opposite
What
way.
was that back
So
then?
when I was
What
in the-
year are we talking?
So when I was in the Navy, there were guys that were clearly
What year?
feminine
What year did
and
you enlist?
trans, and I stayed as far away from them as
That makes
possible
sense.
because I did not want to be
Branded.
Associated.
branded or
Right.
identified as.
Right.
I didn't want people to know.
See,
And
like,
I
when
went
you- when you
overboard.
still-
That's why I played sports. That's why I
Yeah,
boxed.
that's
Yeah,
it.
but
that's
you
what
were
I
knocking
slept
kids out
with
on an
over
aircraft
100
carrier.
girls before I got out of high school.
Right. That's
I
what
mean,
you were a
that's
handsome.
not bragging. That is not bragging.
The
That
dead
is
name, right?
that
I'm not
is
even gonna
me.
say it. The dead
Yeah.
name, the handsome kid.
You know what
Oh,
I'm
I
saying?
mean,
I will say my dead name because it just proves how stupid my parents were. So my name, like if you look up your name, and it's always means something. My name meant men amongst men.
Whoa.
How fucking wrong were they?
Should have meant men get against the wall.
Dude, like
Well,
when
do
you
you
were
wanna
like
say
hiding
it?
out
What
from
was
those,
it, Mitzi?
when you were hiding out from like the really feminine queer people, were you
Yeah.
like doing like feminine stuff yourself, dude? Or you keep that
Only
secret, or
no
you,
no.
like-
So when I was in the service, I would be boxing while I was on the ship. I was all guy, but like
Was that a turn on at all?
we
Being,
would
like,
pull
sweaty
in.
and, like,
I would go to a hotel room, and I would, you know, like I was in Norfolk, Virginia. I would go to Virginia Beach. I would get a hotel room for the weekend because you'd have 2-3 days off. I would go buy clothes. I'd buy some makeup, and I would go in my hotel room.
Were you surprised
I
how
would-
easy it was to pull dudes?
I would change, but I wouldn't leave the hotel room.
Yeah.
I would sit in the hotel room and cry,
Oh wow.
just fucking bawl my eyes out.
The world's
And
a different
then
could've
place.
lived
when I
with
had
it.
to take it all off, that was even harder.
Oh
Yeah.
Jesus, dude.
So
Take
I
it
mean,
off
I hit,
and go
and-
box. or
and
play
then I would,
football
yeah,
again.
and then I, and so I did that heterosexual. I got married. I had kids, and I said, okay, I don't have to.
That's
do
what I
this.
think is really dope
I don't have to
about
do
you.
this,
What do your grandchildren call you?
Nana.
And I don't take this the wrong way. You remind me of my nana in so many fucking ways, and I don't mean you're old.
So
You're,
no,
you're
so
of the old-fashioned Bostonian.
one of my favorite
like
jokes
my
is
mother, like-
my grandson, and it's I say it on stage all the time. So my grandson asked my daughter, he goes, "Is Nana a boy or a girl?" I was like, "Yeah."
Good answer. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's excellent.
Yeah, there you go.
Why? Because she looks like a boy and sounds like a girl. Uh-huh.
It's better than the other way around,
Yeah.
right?
But I mean, kids know, I
Yeah.
mean, he knows. So we don't hide anything from him.
Mitzi,
like-
what percentage of your breastplate is hormone grown? And did
First
you
of all,
get
it's not a
augmentation?
breastplate. Breastplates are these
I was
fake
looking
things.
for a
So-
clinically horrible. I didn't
Breastplates
say,
are these things that these trans.
how much did you go?
these-
Lunch buckets are hormone filled.
I went up only.
compared to
I only went
silicone.
up one bra size,
Okay.
Yeah.
and
how
I
so?
got them evened up.
How so?
So like human breasts, when you grow, they're different.
Yeah.
As you could see, one of our comedians yesterday, she didn't have a bra on, and one was down here, and
Oh,
one
they
was
look
up
like
here.
broken pancakes. Someone played street
They
hockey
did, yeah,
on
they
those
did.
pancakes.
Looked like a
She offered to
a
show me those
serpent
pancakes.
side eye.
and part of me was like,
Hey.
No,
Yeah,
thank
the other
you.
Balls aren't the same size either. So,
yeah.
So
It's
actually,
different,
so
though.
when I saw my surgeon, he's like, well, actually, they're this because I thought one was bigger than the other, and he goes, no, it's just sitting lower than the other one. So he brought them both up, and I got one size more. And everybody, oh, you really didn't need.
And
that."
how did
So-
you get one size more? Did they put a bigger?
Actually, I have a new thing. So there's like the silicone. So mine are like actually beads. They're like tiny
Beads.
little
I
silicone.
got an ice
beads.
pack full of beads. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's
it's
like,
like
in a
a
stack of
it's,
beads.
yeah, it's like a little thing, and when they did it, they cut on
They
the
look like
bottom,
real titties. I'm not gonna
you know,
lie.
so you can't even see
I
a
always make
scar
sure every
because they're right
podcast,
underneath.
get her-
Yeah.
Let Mitzi show off the twins. But
And
that's
I'm
what
so
I think is
shy
so
about
cool
doing
about your
that.
story. And like, I'm proud he was a friend that like she had to live like that and that. Picture if we had to live for 30 years, like I want to be a comic, but everyone wants to beat me up and think, you know what I mean?
No, like that's
there's no difference. Who am I to think I'm a stand-up
That's
comic?
why I appreciate it. Because like, do you know how long? So
But she wears it well.
I
She's like a classy
I
old
used
broad.
to hide that I was into ass. You know what I'm saying? Like I was made to feel weird about that
couple
shit.
Weeks ago.
Yeah.
I was made to feel weird
I
about
won't
that
even
shit.
kiss him. I go to the ass first, just face first.
No, me too. But like, I was made to feel ashamed about that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, by the time I was able to come to terms with that, I was like, yo, if I'm able to come to terms with that, a guy that looks like me and is able to put on a fucking dress, I fucking salute you. You know what the fuck I mean? Like, are you serious? Like,
well, you're a very attractive man, but you put on a dress.
it wouldn't work for me. But like,
Big
you know what I'm
black
saying?
dudes intimidating.
but like-
when I'm on Tinder,
But like,
right,
people
in a
that have to see
flippin'
themselves
show,
like this, but like, people have to see themselves like this, and they still have the courage to do that and then live it out in public.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Listen, I
Nah,
never.
like I really do
charismatic.
salute you. You're my people.
So we just had.
I'm afraid to swipe right on black girls because they're used to some fucking good old.
Not all of them. A lot of
Some
them like
mean
white guys.
dogs.
A lot of them
Yeah.
like white guys.
Well,
You'd
yeah,
be
because they
surprised.
don't want the abuse of.
Yeah,
lot of
I
them
just
are
have
like-
no confidence. I'm like,
I
mean-
see you later.
Yeah.
You know,
You get
Well,
what
no,
you know.
I mean,
What you
you
mean
grow
you
up
got
and
a
you see
job?
certain things.
No, true. Like
no job in a tiny,
literally, like,
tiny dick.
in
doesn't
the
work.
black community,
I would
there are
never
black
want an
men.
Italian
Literally, within the black community, there are black men and there are African men.
Yeah.
And they will differentiate. The
I didn't
women
know
will
you had
differentiate between the
African,
two.
closer African roots, but I get that now and I can see.
No,
that.
I'm first generation. I was born here. Otherwise, I would have been born there.
But
you
your
know what I mean?
parents.
Yeah, like my parents were both born there. Came over here, adults.
Like I didn't pick
you know
up.
what I mean?
Now that you've said that, I see. I'm like, oh, that's why he's like a bright kid. And
I mean, I had no
No.
choice. They forced it on me. I mean, bro, I had two choices. I could go to school to be a doctor, an engineer, or a lawyer.
what do you do now?
Right now, I'm working at CVS
See,
because
now
I'm
that's
trying to do
what-
this.
that's
what did
I
you-
can't
that's
work
what
as
I-
an engineer and do
Yeah,
this.
Do you still work at the same one?
No, I actually work on Mass Ave now.
So I love that your parents made you.
Yeah.
When I was growing up, like to me was if you want to go to school, you need to get a scholarship. That's the reason
Yeah.
I played sports. And stuff.
That's the
Because
lineage you came
They
from.
said you
there
weren't
was no
smart
other.
enough. You're
Your
not
parents
smart
didn't have the
enough.
money.
Like,
They
I-
No,
died.
well, my mom was an orphan. My dad was an immigrant.
They
and
worked to
didn't-
keep the
yeah.
lights on and feed.
Yeah, he
Like,
was
my
a butcher.
father-
She was a nurse. They
By the
did
time my
stuff that
father was
were-
like in his early teens, both his parents were dead because like his father
Yeah.
was grandfather age.
Well,
when
that
he
was
had
my
him.
mom. My
You know what
mom
I
was
mean?
an orphan.
Yeah.
She grew up in a Catholic orphanage.
But like,
So that was always your excuse for beating me as a child. Was that so the nuns
Yeah,
beat
the
me?
nuns beat me with a ruler on
Yeah.
the knuckles.
You see,
Oh,
my
I'm sorry.
This ain't
I
as bad
got
as the
beat.
nuns.
I
My
never
father
had
was
to
just
ever
the
beat my
opposite.
children.
My father
No,
hit me once.
never.
It felt so bad, and like
Yeah.
I was like 8 when the first time he
Did
ever
you
did it.
earn
and, like,
it
he
though?
felt so-
Charismatic?
I earned it. I earned that shit. But he struck me once, and I didn't forgive him for like 2 weeks because like my mother hit me every day.
Did you stand up?
Or like my mother
Or
was
you
the one
beat
that
her?
spanked me. My mother was the one that spanked me regularly, and like
Yeah.
I would forgive her.
My
You know
mother
what I'm saying?
taught me how to.
But like
not
my
run
father
from
hit me
fights.
once,
My
and I
father
didn't forgive him
didn't
for
have
weeks.
If I got more spankings, I might not want to be spanked now.
Nah.
No,
I would've thought you were-
I
I
was-
was dumb.
I
I
was
thought you were
punched-
dumb. I was
I
thinking
was-
Leo.
I was
His head
punched
ducks
in
into
the
the
face.
radiator.
Oh no,
I picture that poor little fella. Looks like a fisherman.
Bro,
And Mitzi got him with the gag ball duct tape to the radiator. Do you love me? Turn it up.
No,
I'm
it's
a
the other way
dog, and
around.
The other way around.
I'm a dumb, and sometimes a nice smack on the ass feels good. It invigorates. You know what I'm saying? Who the fuck you think you are? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I have a bruise of a handprint on my ass.
Listen, I was in Disney World
So-
like 10 years ago. Girl put her finger up my ass. All I could
Woo!
say was, I gotta pee. Stop. I gotta pee. It's
Well,
making me want to
one
pee.
of the comedians
Not my
last
thing, it's not
one
my
of the
thing.
comedians last
Not my
night
thing.
was saying, you know,
I
he
did a
was
finger
having sex,
up my butt sex.
and well, it was actually
If you
said
want to
that,
fuck your finger up,
Yeah.
go. Stick that in there. Whatever.
yeah, if you haven't,
No, I
yeah.
keep my ass
It's just
clean,
not my
so,
thing,
yeah.
though. It's uncomfortable.
Actually,
It's
sleep with the
uncomfortable.
German girl. She will stick her finger.
Oh,
right
they'll
up
shit
your-
on your
I'll
chest.
stick a lot of
Yeah.
things up their ass.
German.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, there's nothing that they will not do in bed. German girls, German men.
Okay,
So it
going-
on
don't
time.
care.
It on
going
time.
to Germany.
On the weekends, right? I've been
Fun
going to try to
fucking
bang
place.
this
Okay.
And
Iranian.
it's green. You see all the pictures growing up. I thought Germany was black and white. It's fucking green.
Yeah.
Everywhere
yeah.
I went in Germany.
It's
was
a pretty place.
It is a pretty
nice.
place.
It's nice.
Actually, every place I went in the fucking world is pretty. I have gone
Yeah,
into
that's what's cool about the
desert-
military. If your eyes are open and you're looking at it,
I've been to some parts of Africa.
I
I
was-
was cooking
I was-
though. Were you in the
I was in
bowels?
Africa and
There's some parts that
pretty.
just make you cry.
I'm
From
sorry. I
Boston.
took a real safari in
Wow.
Africa.
You
It was
don't
like-
understand
My
what the
first
term
time
wide open
ever,
space
I was
means
13
until
in
you see it.
Nigeria. We were driving up the street, and I saw like she had to be like 25, and she was dead in the middle of the street. My first
Yeah.
time, like, yo, reality check,
Nigeria.
bro, like reality check
That's
off
real
the
deal.
off the
Actually,
bat.
we got thrown out. My ship pulled into Africa, and black prostitute got killed, and they blamed it on one of my white shipmates.
Probably did it.
No,
Probably did
actually,
it.
actually, he
Didn't-
was in jail there.
There's always
for-
one wacky.
He was
weird
in
white
jail
dude.
there for 10 years, and then they finally found out he had nothing to do with it. He wasn't even at the spot.
Imagine doing a 10
Yeah.
piece for nothing. If you didn't do
No,
just 'cause
that's-
fit
Do
the
you know how
bill.
many? Do you know
That's
how
likely
many?
in Africa.
Do you know how many
it's likely.
people are in jail that have?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I know a guy
1%.
from Medford. He did 30 years.
They still haven't caught my
30
killer.
years
Yeah.
for something he did. 30 years. But when he got out, because he did his 30 years and he didn't tell on everybody, he got put on. And you know what I mean? Like, but yeah. That's one positive story for doing 30 years. But otherwise,
That's one. I know.
I
some-
don't
I've heard
want to
some
do
other
6
ones.
months.
I ain't
You
doing
know,
shit.
I've done weekends in lockup. I've been in Middleton for a couple weeks. Couldn't bail out. So overcrowded, they put me in the fucking gang unit
Sure.
because I have SM 101. South Medford 101 is a bus from Sullivan Station to Malden Center that goes through Medford.
And you're like, why
And
the
it-
fuck?
I'm like, what do you do? Gang unit? And they were like, we've got like 60 kids that have the same tattoo.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I used to play street hockey with those. That's just where we're from. They're like, it's a gang. But an outlaw biker, like biker dude, and I hate biker dudes. I'm not gonna get into it. But I
Fuck
have a
you!
reason.
I used to ride a bike.
Bikes are cool, but old timey biker dudes gave
Some
my
of them-
mother a shit kicking to the point where she ended up with one kidney and ultimately died.
Okay,
40 years
that is
later.
the 1%.
Jesus Christ.
1%
Right,
of
yeah.
most biker
When
dudes.
I hear a loud motorcycle, I get
most biker
teary-eyed and
dudes
think
are
of my
really
mother.
like.
Yeah.
See,
So anyway,
yeah,
this
that-
outlaw biker
Okay,
guy
but,
Yeah.
you know,
took me under his wing
guy showed his
and
back.
took care of me for the while I was totally safe. I was totally safe. You can get raped, and your jaw broken quick in lockup. You walk
Yeah.
up like, yo, what size sneakers are those? And the answer is my size. You know, like that's my
Well,
size.
that's
You
the
gotta stand up.
that's
But you got a
people-
leg up. you
people
know?
have to know
If
that
you
you're
puffed up
willing.
in front, like,
You're going to
"Oh,
die
you're
before
gonna
they're going to
kill
get
me."
anything off you. That's what people.
I'm a
need to know.
lanky white dude with a weak jawline. Look at that. It might look good on, bad guy and all my children, but punch it, it falls apart. Sharp jawline.
I don't know. I don't like pain, but also
I don't
at the same
either. I
time,
hate
I'm
fighting.
equally maniacal and quite
You're big.
vindictive.
You're big. You got
Forget the size.
Literally got the
Fear of the
upper hand.
brain. Forget the size. The size is. I
I'm
was
gonna
born with
need-
that. This shit though, I built that.
Well, see, that's
I
what it is.
appreciated
That's
what
what
happened
I
with
used to like. So
Pepperfest so much.
as a
I like seeing it
as an old
touch.
fighter, I
That
always appreciated
is
talking my way out of a
so lame.
situation
Oh,
more
man.
than fighting.
Me too.
To me, that was
I don't want to
because
fight
you're
anybody.
using your brain,
Yes.
Yeah.
and like you're saying, it was. So I was in a It was when I was in the Navy. We pulled into Anacostia. We were looking for weed, and if you're looking for weed in Anacostia, you're looking at like you don't care.
Looking
What
for a
you're
death
getting.
sentence.
Well, you're getting weed. You know it's getting sprayed with something. It didn't
shit.
matter. But so you used to be able to pull up on the corner, and guys would come up to the window. You'd give them money. They'd drop it in.
Mm.
So we went to a couple places, and that didn't happen. And we pulled up one place, and the guy goes, "Oh no, come down the alley." And my friend Andy, I was with, he goes, "Oh, I'll be right back." I'm like, "Andy, don't get the fuck out of the car." He goes, "No, no, no, I just have to go down the alley." Andy, don't get the fuck out of the car. You go down out of the car, there's gonna be a fight. Something's gonna happen. He goes, "Oh no, 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 man, I really want to get some weed, and I have to go down the alley to get it." I'm like, "Andy, don't get that." And he got out of the car, and he went down. And as soon as he started going down the alley, the first thing I saw was one kid pull out a gun, and then another kid pull out a gun, and they both had it pointed at him. So I'm in the car looking, fuck, what am I gonna do? So I look around. I found an old Rambo knife. Had a broken blade. All I had was the handle. So I stuck that in the back of my thing, and I walked out of the car, and I walked like wide of the kid that was the widest of them, and I was on his back, and I just had it so he could see it, and he could see the grip, and he could see that I had something in my hand, and he goes, "He's got a gun, he's got a gun, he's got a gun." I'm like, "Don't make me fucking pull this gun." let my friend go, and we're going. He goes, no, all we want is the money. And I'm like,
I'm gonna
don't
kill one of
make-
you motherfuckers.
I'm like, don't make me fucking pull this gun out. Andy, get the fuck in the car. And Andy's like, I want my weed. I'm like, Andy, get the fuck in the car. So finally, Andy went in the car. The kid pulled his gun back. I get in the car.
Did you spook them?
And they thought I had a gun.
They
Did
didn't
your
want that.
military
thought-
training help a touch? You think?
Nah, they didn't.
No.
They,
Be like,
they,
get
they
basic,
didn't
like,
want
I
the
don't want
risk
to
of
shoot
getting
one of you
hurt.
motherfuckers.
They didn't
No.
want to get hurt.
That was my street. That had nothing to do with
Listen,
service.
if a fist
Like,
fight
that was
pops
my
off
street.
at an open mic, I'm gonna go, Mitzi!
Yeah, if
You know, like,
if
you
it
know-
was a
you
street
know-
fight, that would have been fine.
Do
It
you
was
know why?
not.
Do you know
They
why
were
hunting
weapons.
animals in the wild only go for weak or
Right.
young animals?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Because they don't want to get injured doing the kill.
Exactly.
Right.
Because you have to be able to
Yeah.
hunt again tomorrow.
Yeah.
You don't want to pick a
Exactly.
fight
You know
with a
what
fighter.
Exactly.
And they weren't sure.
He
They're
was
like,
ready to fight.
yeah.
Why do that? Why?
Yeah.
I gotta rob again tomorrow.
Yeah.
I gotta be alive tomorrow to do that.
Right.
Why
in
do
the
this?
wild, wild, it's no different than like people robbing each other.
It's
on the
not,
street.
it's
Yo,
the
we're gonna
wild.
snuff
No.
this kid.
It's the wild. You
Yeah.
go after the easy prey. Someone that ain't gonna fight back.
watch birds fight over a piece of fucking bread. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's that's
I had a
what
friend
civilization
when I was
is.
running the like in the street, like street beast. This guy Spike, God rest his soul. He was in his like early 50s from Southie. Like he was there for forced busing, you know, and the shit that came out of his mouth was so funny that you just accept. He was giant, barrel chested, little tiny legs. We'd walk through like, Tommy's get away from these fucking scallywags. And I would find a kid, a weak junkie who'd be like, dude, I just filled all my scripts. I got Klonopin, Clonidine, Promethazine. I got this, I'm like, dude, just gotta check. I'll buy everything you got. Come with me. And I'd go, come down here. It's hot. I'd walk him down an alley and Spike would pop up behind the dumpster.
Yep.
And I'd be like, kid, run it. We're going to leave you with some, you're not going to take your money. We're going to take most of your drugs. We're going to leave you enough to get through today and tomorrow.
Or run your shit though.
And that is the only shit I regret from when I was, you know, I feel bad for that.
Stick up, kid, yo.
Yo, can't tell you
Just to
something,
see
dude?
Spike pop up, and he just wouldn't. I'd go, you know what's up? Oh, come on, Tommy. I thought you were cool. I'm
So-
like, I am, but I'm also sick.
Yo, so Tommy,
Put
dude,
the gag ball on.
you know how I work sound and door over at
Right.
PAs, and there's like it's just for a little extra money. So I got my ass kicked not so long ago, probably like two months ago. Something that
did you
never
step
happened to
up?
me before.
You
Dude,
fight and you go bang up.
No, dude. So my buddy's doing sound. I was doing door over at Salio's. I walk over to get a couple last beers before I go home, and him and this other kid had an argument. And I walk in, and he tells me about it. I look over, and the kid's like staring back at my buddy. So I'm like, that guy's gonna try to fight you by the end of the night. Like I knew it right away. I'm like, that guy's gonna try to fight you. He's like, yeah, whatever, dude, right? So at the end of the night, sure enough, we go outside and smoke a cigarette. He's out there with his like two buddies. And I'm like, I can't let my buddy get jumped, dude. And it's something that never happened to me before. This kid just grabbed me by the hair. And I was defenseless, dude.
Yeah.
I was
grabbed you
defenseless.
first?
He was
He
yo-yoing
grabbed
you.
me first.
He was
dude.
yo-yoing you.
I
wasn't he?
was old. I couldn't. I never got my ass kicked so bad in my life, dude. I'm like, holy shit, dude. Like
I was
that.
the
I have
skinniest
not
kid growing
fought
up.
since I grew my dreads.
Dude,
Literally
oh
have
my
not
God.
fought since I grew my
You
dreads.
fucking
No, you're not
tower
touching me.
I
over
couldn't
people.
believe
Still,
it.
you grab me by the
You're
dreads,
so
bro.
big, right, that you don't realize your like when that thing happened where you like mushed the kid kind of took his hat. To you, he's like, yeah, I just tipped his hat. Everyone was like, whoa,
I just
he's
pulled
down.
the brim
Yeah,
down.
but
just
yeah,
the brim down.
forcefully.
I didn't take much force to pull a
I
brim down.
respected it. I respected it, right? Here's the thing, and I started.
How else do you
I
turn off
tried
somebody?
preaching
You turn
at him
off their
for it,
them
right?
lights.
Then last week, what do? I get pissy at the gutter mic. I flicked a cigarette in a kid's face.
Oh,
He
really?
said something. I went, yeah, just like this. And you know what? He only got 1/3 of that move because the move is bam, pop, pop,
Oh.
and he, you know what I mean? And then I went bang, and I said, "Kid, keep running your mouth." And he was like, "Ugh," and he did. And he was like, "Oh, my friends beat you up." And I'm like, "That might work."
No,
I wouldn't talk to dorks like your friends. I wouldn't see it coming.
Why would you want
And
somebody?
I
else to
feel
do
like
your
an
work?
asshole for that. I feel like a complete asshole for doing that.
I
He made
don't.
me come out of character.
I don't
Oh,
feel
man.
like a
That
asshole for
street shit
pulling the
doesn't
brim
belong
down.
with
Your
comedy.
brim flipped over. You're off. All I did was turn off the lights. I turned out the lights. That's it.
You made him look stupid.
Exactly.
There was
Yeah,
a
but
moment.
that doesn't always work. So I was at Forest Hills and
I stepped in and just got in the way.
this
where it's like,
this guy
just
walks
do it
over
outside,
to
it's
me and
gonna
my
happen,
ex roommate.
Don't
She's
lose the
the one
room.
that's in Seattle right now. So we were sitting. We walked the furthest away from the bus stop. We were over by like Sandbox, the corner. We were like on High Park Ave. By the lights, and this guy walks clearly. He was waiting for the bus. Walked clearly over where we were, and he's like, "Hey, girls, how you doing?" And my roommate's like, "We don't want to be bothered. I've been working all night. My roommate's drunk. I just wanted to talk to her."
Hit 9-1.
And
Make your move.
he goes, "It's a free world. I can go where I want." And he leaned up against the Sandbox where we were sitting right beside, and he pulls out a cigarette, and she goes, "Oh, we're allergic to cigarettes. Please don't smoke that cigarette here." And he lights the cigarette and he blows the smoke right at us. Oh, right at her.
And Mitzi steps up. You know,
Well, of course.
You light him up?
No. I stood up and I'm like,
you
what
being
are
a dickhead.
I'm like, what are you, fucking ignorant?
Right.
She was being nice to you. She told you we didn't want
That's
to be
7th
bothered.
grade tactic right there, you know.
We didn't want to be bothered, and you had a, and then you blew smoke in her face. Why are you being ignorant? And he goes, "Oh, I don't need no faggot telling me what to do."
Right.
And I'm like, transsexual.
Honestly,
or
I just pictured it.
transgender.
I hope that what you heard was ding.
No. But I was explaining to him, and I was
Light 'em
giving
up.
him the technical term. I'm a transsexual, or as you people
Is
call
that
it,
a term you would hear
transgender.
too?
Actually, it's an old term.
Transsexual.
It's the older people.
How about transvestite? That makes
Oh,
me think of the
no,
Rocky
that's
Horror
Transvestite
Picture
is the
Show.
person that dresses, but
Right.
That's
doesn't
just an
actually-
old.
it's a
That's
cross-dresser.
like
It's a cross-dresser.
retarded. Ain't a word no more.
Which is
No, transvestite is a cross-dresser.
transvestite is a medical term, and it's outdated.
Yeah.
Like it's like 20, 30 years old, actually outdated.
You know what validates?
Would you shut the
Trans
fuck up
people
and let me
like
tell
a-
my
a
story?
trans man
Where's
who
the
becomes a
ball
woman,
gag? Put the
but
ball
likes
gag on.
girls.
Somebody
like you
put the
can
ball
become a
gag on him.
lesbian.
Wait, what'd you say? I know.
Wait,
I know.
wait,
what
wait,
you guys-
I have
If
been
I
a-
became
I have
No, there-
been a
there are-
lesbian.
Stuff
there-
with
there
girls,
are-
I could become a lesbian.
There are a
I've
lot of
been a
those. There are a lot of
lesbian.
those. There are a lot of trans women that
My-
date women.
my actually-
a lot.
My roommate.
It's
If I
hot.
was trying to
That is
fuck a
very
girl
fucking-
at a
I think it's
show,
hot.
and Mitzi was
Yeah,
too,
I'm sorry.
she'd probably
Two
get to it
tits,
quicker.
mate. As long as you put two pairs of tits together, I'm a happy man.
I
So
get it.
trans women and woman, I don't give a fuck. There's tits there.
There's
There's
a
booty
lot.
there.
There's-
I am happy.
So okay, gender and sexuality are two fucking different
Yes.
things.
Yeah.
So my gender is
I
trans.
agree.
My sexuality is bisexual.
Yes.
And there are transgender people.
Trisexual. You try anything, right, Mitz? Just
There
don't
are transgender
don't pee
people
on my chest.
who are bi, who are straight, who are gay.
Yes.
Just like white people, just like black people, just like Puerto Rican people. We're all the same. Our gender and our sexuality are totally different. But going into my story, I was telling this guy, I was trying to use the civil, trying to use the brain and talk him out. And he threw a punch.
Oh shit.
He threw a punch.
He threw a punch.
You made
You
him
get you?
uncomfortable with something deep inside of him that he didn't want to.
Yes.
Live
No,
up
because
to,
already
That's when that happens.
already
to a
he was
trans
on
woman
approach.
like
he
you.
was already on approach.
That's what's fucked
He's
up.
already being
He was
like,
already on
Get over
approach. You got him.
So there is a
Kill yourself.
7.5 minute video that the MBT has because nobody stopped the fight. There were like plenty of people there. They were just taking pictures and videos. But there's actually like a 7-minute video, and they made me sit there and watch that. And I am standing there, good posture,
Oh, that's
and
the-
I'm
the
just
cops
boom,
like that
boom,
one.
boom.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I'm just popping them. I'm hitting
Like
but-
you were on the deck of the USS Vincent. What was the ship you were on?
the America.
Okay, I was close.
How I'm more American.
That
close.
that must have been
kid, yeah.
a really fucking good vid.
Aircraft.
Because like,
So-
can you imagine her dropping all her female mannerisms and just turning back into the boxer quickly?
And well, that's what it was. It was like it was a female completely outboxing a guy, and I completely.
Straight boxer. There was no gender about it. It was a straight boxer.
I didn't take him to court. The MBTA took him to court, and it took
The
a while.
MBTA took me to court.
And it took them a while, and finally it went to court and everything. But the MBTA dropped the ball. They didn't give the defense.
They don't
This,
care
didn't
about
give
their
that.
workers.
They didn't give that.
Did you hurt a worker, or what was it? Or was it a?
No, he was an undocumented person from South America. that
I went
happened
to
be up
court.
here,
So
A bunch
didn't
for
have paper.
spitting in a
But he ended
train
up
conductor's
winning.
face.
He ended up winning
proud of
because It was a 7-minute video of him getting the shit kicked out of him.
But was he the aggressor?
No, he was.
He
but
threw
still,
the first punch.
That's the punch.
He still got his ass.
He even pulled a knife out in the middle of it, which I never saw because I gave him a body shot and he dropped the knife.
Anybody
my
takes a
roommate-
step at me swinging, I'm gonna try
my roommate-
like hell.
Grabbed the knife and gave it to the bus driver who finally showed up at the end of this fight after
What
7
stop?
minutes.
Forest Hills was it?
Forest Hills. So I mean, last night I'm walking by, and so normally I come down the other way, but when I come to that spot, I mean, it'd been years, but
But you went right back in like you
No,
you were sparring, right?
no, it's
Yeah, but you
That's
have
not
that
what it
leg up
was.
on them.
it doesn't matter. I got to that spot. I was like, oh fuck.
But you punched his lights out.
Well, that's why he
And that's
ended up.
you said
that's
that you
why
went
he
to the
ended up
police
winning.
station. The cops were like, "Oh, we watch that one all the time. It's funny."
Yeah.
Well, that's I saw the cop that
They watch this
investigated.
translate. He fucking
And
light
he
him
goes,
up. That's what's awesome about
yeah.
Mitzi.
It was like 2 years later. He goes,
She's all woman except for those mitts, dude.
He goes-
Get into the mix with those mitts.
He goes, you might have lost the case, but you're still the number one video in the precinct.
Yeah.
Right, she's fucking right.
I could just see a bunch of cops. Hey, want to see this fucking trans girl?
You know what?
Shit
Know
on
what
this
I
guy?
know what I admire about women? I can never be on World Star and take my heels off and light somebody up.
Vicious.
I can never be on War Star, be in a fight, and have my shirt ripped off.
I walk in Dunkin' Donuts and I just scream World
It
Star.
happens every time on World Star. When women fight,
What is
clothing
World Star?
comes off.
Yes.
World Star Hip Hop it's a site where like
Yeah.
they
If you're gonna
launch-
punch someone and video
God, I am
cameras,
so
like,
into
go,
it.
"World
I don't know
Star!"
how to like if you want
Take a
just
big
the
dump.
randomest
World
most
Star!
like entertaining videos ever.
Yes.
Get on World Star. Like
pretty good.
It's not pretty good. It's
Shit you
amazing.
watch 15 times and then you're like,
One of
why did I
my
watch
favorite
that?
videos is this girl in New York, and this guy's giving her shit, and she's a trans girl. She comes up with an uppercut. Boom,
Oh,
takes him right
yeah.
down.
I'm sure that
One
was on
fucking
World Star.
punch.
But what
Bam,
do you
right
think
down.
of, okay, check this out. This is cool. This is funny. This is true. This is some real shit. This is some Bostonian and the Beast truth. Maybe like 6 months ago, I'm swiping through fucking and who do I find? Mitzi, like this. And she's posing, sticking her tits out, and I was like, you sneaky bitch. And I see her, I was like, Dad, good for you, good for you.
You gotta get it in, yo. You
I
gotta
see
get it in.
dudes at the bar, like she'll go up and crush, and then there'll be like a construction worker and his buddy that are trying to bang Mitzi. It's
No,
like
you see,
she brings out the fucking, from the dudes on the DL. It's fucking fun to watch. Mitzi's awesome. Mitzi's awesome. I'm so proud of her.
Eh.
I should have died from shooting.
So
smack and eating
they were
pills,
talking
but
about
I
my
didn't.
hands. Where's the camera? This is the 16-ounce can. That's how big my hands are.
I think your hands are larger than mine.
You know what they
Take
say
a
about
shot.
big hands? Big gloves.
Big
About
gloves.
yeah, about the same size. And I'm taller,
I want
much
a
taller.
dick. I really, if anybody can pitch in, I want a dick transplant. I do.
That's like
I want a South American knee knocker, just with big head.
You wouldn't know what to do with it.
Yeah, I would.
You wouldn't know. You wouldn't. You
I get
wouldn't.
my passport.
You wouldn't. Do you know
up till
how?
I got to China.
Do you know how heavy my dick is, bro? Like no. When you get into that type of size, do you know how heavy
That's
it
a
gets?
problem. That's
Like,
a
the
problem.
heaviness- bro,
You're complaining.
How many times have you said?
You could run through
Have you slapped a
8,000
woman in the face
white
with your dick
girls
before?
tonight.
Have you ever dick slapped somebody before?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever knocked them the fuck out with it before?
I bounced my dick off.
Oh
your
my
nose
God,
or
you're
two.
just making yourself more attractive.
I am African, okay? I'm just
Right.
saying what we do, okay?
I
You
didn't-
don't
I
dick
didn't
slap
pick
because
up-
that's a dick punch, okay?
Like my general, like at first, my opinion was like, oh, this is a black kid. He got a little street on him, but he probably had good parents.
Excellent.
You know what
My
I mean?
friend, like,
And
I'm
now
sorry.
you
Like,
say African, that explains.
I walk around the store and like I will greet. I'm the
Yeah,
one
yeah,
person
yeah.
that I
You should
say
rub
to
it in.
everybody.
You should rub it
I'll greet everyone.
Right.
I'll say good morning.
But you
I'll
gotta
say good
understand, on
evening.
GP, you horrify little white people. You know what I mean? I horrified.
10 minutes.
Oh, everybody
You're out there
horrified.
on a scally, you're like, oh, force busing. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, I'm glad I didn't survive in those times because I would have been militant.
what
Like
year were you born?
if 1990 on the
He's a
spot.
baby.
Like literally, like if I'm the type of person that if I don't get to exist, neither do you. So like I'm glad we're past all that
Right,
shit because
right.
I would have been very militant.
My
I'm
goal in
glad
life
we're
is
in
to
the-
be a man of note. To go down in the boat.
Actually,
too.
you
A man
grew
of note.
up in a
That's it.
great time. You grew up
That's
in
it.
the time my kids grew up.
Yeah.
Now
This is an awesome time to grow
both
up.
of my kids are like same age as
2000.
you.
Okay, you were like
Actually.
11.
So
at
like,
9/11.
I got to pass through the year of the
Yeah.
booty. I
You
got
saw
like
9/11.
trans people are normal, and like that just makes sense to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Gay people aren't as stigmatized as it was before. I think why should a stigma exist anyways? For multiple reasons. If you hate gay people, all right, the world is going through a
That
human
means
crisis.
probably
They're not making more
That's
in the
what
way
that means.
people.
Yeah.
All right, if
you're
they're
wasting your time.
Like-
Yeah, I remember high school being like that.
All the
like,
people
around-
that I have a problem with are uneducated,
yes,
older people.
like my grandmother. My
I-
You're
grandmother.
gonna die, Miss.
My grandmother called
I
me.
do public
This is
speaking.
part of it.
And my
It's okay.
favorite thing about doing
I
public
love 'em.
speaking is
Gotta go
going into
run.
schools, going to classrooms. And the younger the
You're
kids I
the real
talk to,
deal.
they don't
transgender.
care though. They
Don't give a
it
damn.
doesn't
Are you
I'm not
nice?
gonna date
Are you
Mitzi.
nice?
Right.
Like,
Mitzi,
do you want to be my
remember?
friend?
as
Like
long as you
Kennedy got
smile
his
and
wig
say
blown.
hello to them, they're okay.
Like my grandmother. I have long hair.
Sexuality and
And
gender
for-
has nothing to
And
do
for an
with that.
African, this is not good. You
No,
know what I'm saying?
no,
So like my
yeah.
grandmother called me a woman before.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I said, Grandma, you know what? Everybody from your generation just needs to die. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
half the hate in the world will be gone with your generation.
But you have people
You know what
that
I'm saying?
grew up
Like,
with the
just
internet,
gone.
and the flood
But
of
how old
information.
is your grandmother?
Your generation grew up with
90s.
information. They didn't. You know what I mean?
My
Like,
grandmother, she's in
What's
her
all-
90s.
How old are your parents?
My mom is she's late 40s, early 50s,
oh,
early 50s.
wow.
Oh my
Close
God.
to my age.
I'm older than
She's
her mom.
between
I'm
me and
older than your
Mitzi.
mom.
My father would have been in his early 60s now.
Okay. And they're both African.
Yeah, both Nigerian.
So
Different tribes. though.
here's the thing. If I have to refer to you as an African American, should you have to refer to me as a Euro American?
You see,
Can we,
like
Or is there a technicality
America
where you
is
didn't
so
have a choice?
fucked up.
I'm
because-
just asking. I'm just asking.
Bro, like no,
I'm just asking.
America's so fucked up because the only Americans are the natives. Everybody else came from somewhere the fuck else. So
That's
how
exactly-
dare
I've been
we?
reading up
How
Exactly.
dare we do this shit?
Yeah.
There was a lot of actual Africans that were in America with the Native Americans.
No, true.
That's a fact.
But still, they
That's
came
a
over. They
thing.
still came over, and they weren't claiming to be Americans. You know
Well,
what I'm saying?
actually,
Everybody that ever
Native
fucked me over
Americans
in life
are actually
is
of
white.
Asian descent.
I don't have a point.
That actually, I
That's the
actually
point.
find
It's
that
true.
that has recently been misnomered.
No, it hasn't. There was
Wait, what?
So-
there was a
so-
hunters bridge, and hunters from Asia came over on the ice bridge, and that's how Asians
So
first.
You know why your eyes look like that?
that was the way they were originally that it was originally seen. But when all the first people migrated out, they were one of the first to go out. So yes, they did cross the land bridge, but they crossed it well before
Bering
Asians
Strait.
existed.
The
You know what I'm
Bering
saying?
They were
Strait,
Asians. They were from
they
that
were
area.
squinting.
Yeah.
They
The
crossed
wind
through
block,
that area
that's
because
why
I mean
they
Asians
have
were only Asians because
eyes
they
like
developed in that area.
Right.
because
They
they
crossed through
migrated
that
to
area.
Bering
They never
Strait.
stopped there. So I mean
And they kept going. They were
Yeah, so
hunters. They just
they-
kept going further and further and further.
Yeah.
So they
The Bering
because I mean
Strait.
technically
That's it.
Polynesians and
That's it.
Have you ever been there? I have.
Polynesians
No.
and Japanese people are of the same
Not at
Shut
all.
that white there. Come on,
Corners,
get that
corners,
white out of
corners.
there.
Right?
because Japanese and
Okay.
Polynesians are technically the
Thank
same
you.
people as
Thank
well.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But like also,
But we've
Polynesians
already
are
gone
so
over this.
big,
We're
and,
all from
like,
right.
It's just walking. Some people walked further than others. That's it. My people were lazy and we stayed in the sun. Okay.
So
That's-
my
that's-
favorite
You
is
got a leg up.
That's
Because
it.
you're like the African dudes that sold the broke African dudes to the
No,
white
it
guys
wasn't
from
broke.
I'm a Willie. I was the broke
They had
William.
recently lost at warfare. They lost war, so
all right. Let's bring this back to
War booty.
Christmas. All right?
Yes, it's
All
Christmas.
right, Christmas, which is Christmas is actually our brother's birthday, and people hate when I say that our brother, because
Jesus.
yeah, you know, well, I fucked his brother.
The word Christian is in Christmas. I
But-
get it. But if you can't say that, you can't say Happy Hanukkah. Right? Whip it. Next week will be
Next week,
January 7th live podcast. We're gonna put
live podcast.
20 plastic seats right
20?
here.
20. Do you
And
think
we're
we
gonna
can
do Mitzi OD trivia.
Can we
You
get
win.
20
You do a
fans?
5-minute set on camera.
Do you
on
think
this
we can get 20
podcast?
people?
Yes. We'll get the Lloyd legacy.
I mean, last night we had a contest and we
yeah.
got only 4 people that said they wanted. to do it.
Yeah, that was just.
And one of them backed out.
We chose him.
I don't back out of anything I do.
like very
If I say
quickly.
I'm gonna do it, I'm a man
I'm
of
not
my
even
word.
judging on laughs. I'm going on who I wanna
Charismatic
sit
was a
and talk
given. I mean, as soon as he put his name down on the list for like,
I'm gonna be there.
He's there.
to. You should be charismatic, and right after it just says, "Go ahead, spell it." So when he spelled it to me, I'm like, "This."
Hey, you spell it wrong. You spell it with the C. It's a K.
It's a K, yo.
Real quick before we tap
Not
out,
the KKK.
Tommy O.D. My real name.
I'm 1K away from the KKK.
Yeah, you are.
I'm 1K away.
So Tommy O.D.
I knew, yeah,
Tommy-
you like that.
Tommy O.D. My real name is.
Also coming from a black guy, right? It's like, it's just amazing. I'm gonna reclaim KKK. I'm gonna do this.
Oh, I lost
Somebody
my
has
spot.
to. Tommy O.D.
Tommy O.D. Right? That's my real name. Tommy Williams is my real name. You asked me if the kid self-made out. Tommy Williams, kid who could ride wheelies forever. Yeah, that was me. I became Tommy O.D. That was a joke through my like making hip hop stuff. I caught a case spinning in a commuter rail conductor's face. And in court, I had to go to court in Attleboro. The judge goes, "Mr. Williams, it would have been better if you hit it. Please make me understand why you spit in this Marine's face." I said, "Your Honor, I spit in his face so I wouldn't have to punch him." We'll be back. Live podcast, Bostonian and the Beast, January 7th. Mitzi, my sister, I love you. Charismatic. Go ahead, try to spell it.
Charismatic me, KARIZMATIK.
You only got a friend
Underscore
at
me
once.
on Instagram and Twitter, and catch my podcast, the King's Podcast, on YouTube, posting every Thursday and Sunday. And catch me, Charismatic IPE, on Facebook. I'm going to be having these two on our podcast real soon.
Exactly what I was going to say. We're going to be on really
Please
soon.
subscribe to DNN, Dirt Neck News.
And Sunday
I took
Fun Day.
CNN
Every Sunday, Sunday Fun Day.
January
And
10th.
January 10th,
What
Pop
night did we
Comedy,
get that?
Fabulous
That was
Underground
that's
Comedy
a Friday.
Kids. The Friday.
Friday.
Every second Friday of the month. It's going to
It's
be.
gonna be dope.
It's going to be
Last
awesome.
week in her room, they did the mic downstairs, wall to wall. Broads. It was great. It was great. There was actually elderly audience members that took up the first fifth. So,
I made some
All
elderly
kinds
people
of
laugh.
like
It was
a
nice.
real show. Right, that
It
was
was a great
fun.
show.
That was fun. All right, we'll be back January 7th. This is your invitation. Come to the
Herb, have a great vacation.
Yes,
We'll see when you
Herb.
come back.
Herb.
Thank
Herb,
you.
Get some pussy, get some cheeks.
Yes.
Do everything
Right.
Charismatic would do, okay?
Remember her, bury them deep.
So eat some ass. So eat some ass.
Deeper
Definitely eat
the
some
better,
ass.
right?
Get a jacket that has a real hood on it.
One last time. Say
Yo,
your
that's a
Guinea
real
name.
hood.
I never knew how to say. How do you say it?
Morsiglio.
More
Oh,
stiglio.
Stiglio. That's more Guinea than Picado.
Wow,
Yeah.
you got money hidden
See,
in the
see,
basement.
no, that's
Also have a transgender stepson, right? That's how I got woke. Snoring through life, 42. The Bruins look good this year. Fuck it, we'll go to Market Basket. It's way cheaper. Huh? What is it, sweetheart? What is it? Yeah, Dad, my name's Ryan now. I'm gonna get on hormones, I'm getting my top done. Are you getting the bottom done? He goes, nah, they haven't perfected it. It looks like a Frankenstein dick. I said, you said that, not me. I'm just gonna go on stage and quote you. That was fucked up, Ryan. Hello, come on. Wake up, buddy, wake up. So I'm like, Ryan, right? You got that cool fucking, you got the jawhead fucking buzz cut, right? You got your top done. You still got the vagina? He goes, yeah. I'm like, that'll look good with some Jordans. That's a good look, right? His mother doesn't get that joke. I think it's great. I have another kid too. I have I never mentioned this on stage. I have an adult son with severe autism. Like he's 3 of these away from a hockey helmet. And I think I can say that because I have autistic license. You clean mayonnaise off the wall at 3 in the morning. I'll come home drunk and go, where'd I put the fridge key? The fridge key? What? But if he did have a hockey helmet, right? I know what I would do. I'd just buy him a hockey stick. My name's Tommy O.D. Thank you very much. You're watching Dirt Neck News.
cigarettes? Are you kidding me? Tiny fucking Santa selling cigarettes to 9-year-olds?
I'm like, listen, either I hit this pipe or I hit you. And you know how my mother is.
You sell my kids cigarettes?
Which one? Which one? Which one?
The little girl, the 9-year-old.
The 9. She said she was 11.
I'm gonna shove the North fucking pole up your ass. You better make this right.
Listen, do you
So I smoke the kids? Are you shitting
Do
me?
you kids like fireworks? I got fireworks.
I want fucking fireworks, okay?
$100 and a real cotton Newport. They're not even the Vietnamese ones. So, that's a both sides right there. Right there. Watching. You know, it's like, I listen, I'm all about, see you later.